Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Attackers are active. And welcome everybody to the DAL League Season 2 semi-final of the lower brackets. Tonight's match is going to be really amazing, as well. This is basically the nature of the thing, right? When you're in the later stages of an elimination bracket, only the cream of the cream rise to the top. Only the best teams remain. Let's just tell the players. They asked me, hey, can I don't want to like spoil private messages, but yeah, like, the player asked, hey, can I start banning? Answers, of course. We are here to see you guys ban maps and then start playing. Tonight I will be joined by the one and only Giraffero, aka Jenna, but she's right back as we speak. The timing was perfect. I said tonight I'm joined by Giraffero, and then you just picked up the mic.
Seconds. I was waiting for a few seconds there. Yeah, I was waiting for the introduction.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Why? I just finished. I've posted the announcement on Twitter, but not like on Discord and the kind of, and the like. So, do take the mic for a few seconds because I will be happy to oblige. And wait, what? The players are banning maps, but it's not showing on the stream. What is happening?
Okay, well, while Hans is dealing with this technical difficulties, I will introduce myself very swiftly. Hello, everybody. My name is Jenna, aka Giraffero. I've been casting very recently. I'm just getting back into it after a short 6-month break, and now I'm very ready to get back into the game, and I'm ready to get back into the game with you, Hans, especially because we're great to do it together. I think we bounce off each other well, and I'm just glad to be back into your little bracket here.
Absolutely, but this is kind of slightly select view group. Yeah, this one, please. Like the only one I have. Could you? Yeah. So I mean, the players are banning. Not update the teams. Like this is the kind of thing you said in map ban once. You never think about it again, and when you have to think about it, something breaks. Wait, I had another map ban overlay which was really not baked or really at all because it was a map ban with no. Okay, no, this one isn't working either. But like, for some reason, the team's names are there, so it's linked. You know, the team's names, the team logos are there, and NTNS Gaming has banned Coastline, and now Villa has just been banned, and it's not on the overlay. Okay, fun times. This is amazing. Wow. Yeah. Would that be an issue with map ban themselves? Because at this point, like, here I have everything else, right? I don't know what to say. Let me send you like the observer link. My video links, link for viewer. Let me send you that real quick. And let's talk about the bans, you know, verbally, because I guess that's the only way we're going to get the point across. Cafe Dostoyevsky is going to be our first game of the night, picked, of course, by NTNS Gaming since they got first ban. And now it's up to Impact to pick another map.
Indeed. So Coastline and Consulate have been downed as 2 maps out of our 7-map pool. Coastline being a very interesting map. It's definitely a map that's probably going to be taken out of the pool, most definitely within the coming seasons here. It's not a very favored map, to say the least. It's most definitely a very utility-based map, an attacker-sided map, and not very great for any strategy-wise competition. Now, Consulate, it's kind of one of the same in that aspect. It's very old as a map. It came out in the year 1, season 1 map pool, and it has not been reworked quite yet, but it does have a lot of capabilities. You got the attacker and defender sided capabilities, and on top of that we got theme park and villa being taken out. So you got cafe in Oregon and clubhouse up on the boards. I believe clubhouse was Impact's pick. We got cafe being NTNS's pick, and Oregon is our decider.
Let me just look it up real quick because I'm kind of scrambling here. Oh gosh. Yeah, so Oregon would be the decider if everything else has been selected. And yeah, I'm not gonna click here because that's up to the players. NTNS Gaming gets to pick if they want their spawn side on Clubhouse. I'm receiving Discord notifications as well. Yeah, let's post this. And what is Alvine saying? Yeah, so Echo is not soft banned here, by the way. This was like a small question that people may have because, yeah, Ubisoft are always messing up with Echo. Yeah, correct. Oregon will absolutely be our third map. So you know what I will do? Link for viewers. I guess I'm going to. It's the best I can do because yeah, map ban is being somewhat uncooperative. Let me just show it to you this way. I know it's not the best. No, not that. Like this. It's not the best display ever, but there you have it. So, Cafe Dostoyevsky. So the first map that's been banned was Coastline. Then Villa. Then of course the teams get to pick their map. So Cafe Dostoyevsky was picked. Clubhouse was picked. Then Consulate has been banned. I'm just repeating what you said in real time earlier, so I'm sorry if I'm kind of stealing your spotlight there, but some people are just visual, you know. Theme Park was the last one to be banned, and by extension, Oregon, like you said, was the last one in play. And after that, it was just a matter of picking sides on either maps, which is what we're seeing right about now. With that being said, I think it would be more or less time to start heading into the match itself. And you know what? A thing I really do adore has been added to Rainbow Six Siege in one of the latest patches. And that was the ability to pause the match when you're online. So that means we now can make like rehosts. Well, rehost by definition means you restart the lobby, but you can now set up proper like tactical timeout situations, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy too, honestly, Hans. I really like that they added in that feature. I think they had it at least for the bigger, higher up competitions with Ubisoft a really long time ago when they did their tactical timeout function, but
Yeah.
they haven't really dealt with it since then.
That's Ubisoft for you.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put it back into the game. And I want to see it be played out for tonight. Maybe a good tactical timeout where teams can refresh, maybe get their bearings in their dealings. But I'm more excited for the map picks. Now, we got Clubhouse, we got Cafe. Cafe is going to be NTNS's pick, and Clubhouse is going to be Impact's pick. These are very strategy-based maps, if we're going to be honest. Clubhouse, obviously more so, because it has been reworked, but it's been around, the meta is very known. So we're going to be expecting to see a lot of the same playthroughs and playstyles in rounds, which means that there's going to be a lot more predictability, and then that just goes down to how teams are going to adapt and function as one versus Cafe, which is a bit of it is a strategy-based map, but you have to have a lot of adaptability and improvisation there because Cafe, again, 3-floor map. There's a lot for defenders to do with it, especially in terms of roaming. So if they want to switch up the game one round and the next round have it be a completely different setup, they can do that and still win it out and be very versatile with how they play it out. It's just a lot of surface area to work with, and that is why I love Cafe as a map. So I'm going to be looking for Cafe versus Clubhouse, most definitely. And then you got Oregon for a decider, right? Oregon is a bit of a mix as well. It's a very utility-based map for the most part. You have to have a lot of map control when it comes to Oregon, and you have to play very aggressive as a team. So if we do go to our map decider, I'm going to be looking forward to that one too. However, I'm not quite sure if Impact is going to be our first. Impact's pick is going to be our first pick on Clubhouse versus Cafe.
No, Cafe was the first map, so NTNS got the first ban, so they got the first map in a way.
Got it. Okay. So honestly, Hans, I think do you want to do more of like a casual commentary here tonight?
Yeah.
I'm looking for since it's just the semifinal loser bracket. I know we got to be professional, but I also want to do a little bit of practicing here and kind of do some styling. So, I was wondering, do you want to do more of a casual cast?
So I'm always down for both. In a sense, you know, if you can keep a conversation with chat and more or less goof around with the chat and just have a great time, people will just sense that you're having fun, that you're laid back, that you're relaxed. And we're not on a pro league level. Both teams know that, I think. And that, in a sense, is going to allow us some extra leniency, you know. Not to dig up ancient history, but you know how we almost messed up a little bit when we were casting the lower final for Six Invitational qualifiers last year. Talk about white pizza, and the chat thought that we were a little bit too casual. So there's a bit of a middle ground to find, if you remember that at all. I mean, it's been a year.
Oh my gosh, it's been a year, huh? It's been a whole year since we did that together. And I feel like apart from each other, we've grown as individuals, we've grown as casters, which is
Mm-hmm.
something that I love to look at. Like, just look back at that previous cast and then look what we're doing now. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But
Yeah.
I digress. I do digress. So, why don't you go ahead? I know you're kind of multitasking here, but
I am.
I don't know anything
Wait,
about these teams.
you're in my parsec, right? You connected without me thinking about. No, you're not. I
I'm
would.
not. Let me go connect right now.
Yeah,
I will-
you could feel I was multitasking. You
Most
could feel
definitely.
that. Yeah.
It's okay. We're
But-
just getting started here, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the most, hyped up, crazy, in the mood cast that we've ever had. But we still gotta keep it a little bit on par, right? So, Impact versus NTNS. Tell me what you know about these two teams, how they play.
So Impact, they rebranded a few weeks ago. They were before 15% Pro. So once again, the winners of last season's tournament season. That's not redundant, but the idea basically is they have proven themselves, and since we've discontinued the tournament season, they're here to defend their title as much as can be. NTNS, they weren't with us last season. However, they were on another competition that we kind of merged with or acquired as much as possible. Like, to be totally frank, they just discontinued their season or their operations, and they invited their players to join us more than anything else. So NTNS, they've had really good performances. They were kind of the underdogs in a way because they're not like Mishmash. They're not only fans, they're not the teams that really flash and pop to our eyes. But if I was to just look up their performances during the main season, I think they have like one defeat under their belt, like an amazing track record for a quote unquote exactly. They lost their only match from the main season to this very team. And Impact Esports, well, they had a flawless track record for the main season. Once again, NTNS, they didn't catch my eye personally as much as some other teams did, because as much as I don't want to take anything away from them, they're, not Mishmash, they're not OnlyFans. And that kind of makes them dangerous because you can get complacent towards them, like not take them too seriously is also a major sin for a higher team, which is in that instance what Impact Esports would be considered as.
Right. And another thing kind of to add on to that, Hans, we haven't seen these two teams play together yet. At least not in this specific standing of our little tournament we got going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to be seeing them first time playing is something new. It's going to be something interesting to be played out. It's like putting, a top performing team with another top performing team. That is going to be great to be played out. I'm going to actually be looking forward to it. And on top of that, you got a lot of differing map picks, which are going to be contributing to what we'll see here tonight. However, Impact versus NTNS, how do they play strategically is what I'm going to throw the question to you, because we know NTNS, they're a newer team. We know Impact is more of a branded team. We know that NTNS has a good performance, Impact does as well, but I want to see the strategy behind it. So what can you tell me about that?
I mean, that's actually a really good question in the sense that I'm doing too many things at once. I'm not taking like the honest answer is I don't know that much about the teams as much as I should, because I've been seeing them, and I mean the chat may very well roast me for that. I would say Impact Esports, their strategies aren't too in depth, or they're not going to be like creating their own custom strategies. So it really is like the default like status quo that they're just trying to perfect as much as possible rather than reinventing the wheel. I think that on that front, NTNS Gaming will have the slight upper hand of like being the most innovative team out of the bunch. Plus, they've been around for a bit longer.
Dans un café, la première.
Yeah, I know about Café, don't worry, yeah.
Alright.
So
Okay, yeah, sorry, like the players were
that's
talking
another
to me.
point. Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm gonna
interrupt
let
you here.
I'm gonna let you take the mic here.
That's an interesting point, Hans, that NTNS versus Impact. You got Impact with the default strats, which are highly predictable, but they're also something to fall back on that could be used very heavily when it comes to any type of strategic play, right? It's something, it's the default. It's something to fall back on. It's your crutch. It's whenever you need to focus on things outside of the strategy of it, outside of, getting creative, where you can, play decidedly mechanically, or where you could, place players in different spots depending on how the default strat works. It's all about adaptation when it comes to defaults, and that's what I like when you see those strats being played out. However, NTNS on the other side, they have innovative strats, is what you're saying. They have more of an innovative set of play styles and plays that they're going to pull out. So here's my thing about that. Now, you're playing with fire when you have very creative strats in this level, in this competition of T3, because you don't necessarily know if it's going to work. You probably haven't scrimmed it out too much. Even if you have scrimmed it out, you're playing against an entirely new team. And so you can tell that Impact is going to have the adaptability function on their side, because they already have these strats in and out known, right? Versus NTNS, which they're going to be playing with something new. They're going to have to adapt it as they go, and that might be their fault here. Because adapting things as you go, yes, it works, but you have to know the strat through and through before you can do that. And I'm not sure if they're going to know it through and through, if they're doing something a little bit newer, if they don't have it down 100%. Honestly, it's all speculation. But at the same time, you also have a lower T3 team. You have, again, these two teams are still lower T3 teams. They are going to have to rely, regardless, on a lot of mechanical ability outside of strategy. They're going to have to rely on a lot of improvisation during the round. And when you have those default strats, you already get a leg up because you don't have to worry about the strategy behind it. I guess that was my main point to come across. I did this whole workaround, this whole conversation, just to say that default strats work because they're so reliable and you can always go back to them.
So, we have jumped into the game. You may have seen that. And let me just jump into map ban to have the bans display in the overlay. I hope it's going to work because like we've had a few run-ins with map ban at the beginning of the night. Thatcher as a ban. What can you tell us about those operator bans here?
Operator bans, they're very universal, right? Thatcher on a cafe map. Wow. How crazy. How out of the blue. That's just that's basically my whole spiel about it. It's not necessarily anything you wouldn't expect to see. And on top of that, you're going to be seeing Callie. Callie isn't necessarily an operator to see out of the blue because she has those hard breach hard breach capabilities that take away the hard breach counter operators like Bandit. You got Kaid, right? She's really great at that. You also got Wamai off the board, right? But Kali is probably the most interesting ban out of the three because she can always be taken as one of those target bans in the case that somebody on the team of NTNS wanted to use her on attack and maybe even frag out with her. Now she can't be used. And then Mira, right? So again, I'm going to reiterate, Callie is probably the most interesting ban out of all of them just because she can be used for fragging on top of her hard breach capabilities.
Absolutely. Let me just update the one thing on the overlay that we still have, and I hope it's not going to break anything. But chat may notice that, this usually does break something. Chat may notice, I hate it when it does that, god damn it. Last time we streamed, we had a, hide team names, that's what I want to hide. Like that. Yeah, last time I streamed, not on this channel, but using MapBan, we were streaming a console leagues final, and so like we had to display the teams' names because you can't natively change them within the game on Xbox, which is unfortunate, but that just really does show that Ubisoft cares somewhat little about consoles as a whole, as long as the game still works well on PC, because that's where like their official comps are going to be. That's all they really care about. So that little tirade set aside, round number 1, a defense on the top floor. Really nothing too surprising on that front. A few walls I expect to see reinforced at this one. For example, this one and this one are going to remain soft. Is it just an oversight? Is it like the least of their priorities, or do they really not plan on reinforcing it? It looks like it's going to be the latter. Last thing I did want to mention is that this one seems to be reinforced. Oh, and wait, Roberts is going to be reinforcing here and train. I would expect somebody to sit down there and like prepare a nitro cell to toss to the ceiling, because that's the only reason why you want to stay there. You know,
Either
looks like
that or
Exo
Oryx.
is going to be preparing that. Oh no, he did open up the hatch. Oh, he's Oryx. Okay, so he's preparing a stealthy run because, you know, the diffuser gets planted, attackers will be looking at the staircases, and the hatches may get forgotten.
Right, and the weird pick out of this is Oryx, because there honestly aren't a lot of spots. Well, granted there are some spots that you can hide that Oryx could be useful on, right? There are a lot of tiny roam spots and little crevices in Cafe that he could be useful for, but right now, sitting in a very defaulty spot might not work for the character that he's playing. However, he might just like the gun, you know what I mean? He might just like playing his way around the gun that he's got equipped. But you see NTNS, they're making a really quick entry. Got about 1 minute left on the clock, and right there, yep, it's Linux. Is that his name? Linux?
Yeah, Linux.
Linux. Yeah,
That's always it with gamer tags. You never know exactly how they're being pronounced. Except when it's too late because you're getting, I want to say, bashed because you did pronounce it wrong. Happened to me more than once. Happened to you as well, I suppose. Roberts is going to bite the dust. He was drone. There's another drone there. There's no way he just knew and happened to pre-fire there. But thing is, Exile, or should I say not Exile, just shot down a drone. His position has been known, and there you have it. Amazing headshot. But Lycos was, or Angel, there was somebody else with Ash, but that somebody, Angel, is just going to back out of the push from the, I want to say, main door, even though it's not the main door, from pillars, you know? But the runout could be dangerous. There's an air jab there, isn't there? He seems to know as well, so he's absolutely ready for that silhouette to come out. Oh, playing aggressive, and that was Exile, so operators wise, not a big loss. Still, 1v3 situation. Exile is going to say lol. But at the end of the day, Angel, he is playing Nomad, and Nomad is hardly an entry fragger. Nomad really is a support operator, so I would not be holding my breath here to hope for a comeback. Numerical disadvantage is one thing, but I mean, if it was an Ashe, if it was a Zofia, I would still give it a slow but semi-decent shot here. That gun is unlikely to pull off a 1v3.
On top of that, you don't even have the cog, man. You don't have the cog. You don't even have the diffuser at this point. He's trying to grab it, but I'm gonna guess that there's a lot of crossfires being held on it. They know that the diffuser is down, and Impact is really playing off of the passivity, you want to call it that. And yeah, you got Smoke sitting in the cocktail spot. You got one sitting around the corner, the pixel corner, and yeah, there you go. That's him swinging on that and killing Angel. However, analyzing that, there's not too much substance really to get out of that, because there wasn't many defining gunfights. There wasn't many firefights that were super huge for the other team. It was really just the NTNS team attacked as individual players. There was not a lot of communication going on in the way that they did attack, and when they figured out the positioning of Impact, it was already way too late, right? You had Echo already killed one off of Pixel, you had Exile kill one, I believe, from below, and on top of that, I think it was Roberts who had been fragged off from reading, but it really wasn't enough at that point, right? It was a very lackluster push. That's all I'm gonna say for that one, though.
Yeah, and I think it really just says everything, because it wasn't like the team as a whole that failed, it was just individual firefights. And how come individual firefights took the team? Well, because the team was pushing individually. So really, I'm just rephrasing what you said, but it did explain it beautifully, simply put.
Right, I mean, there isn't a lot of ways to explain it other than they just couldn't shoot their shots. They could not hit a single target. Unfortunate as it was, I mean, they might have got some damage off, but it wasn't all too much there. However, going into this round, you got round 2 up on the board finally, and it is in Kitchen.
Yep.
Kitchen. So you got Velk, Jaeger. I hate naming off players. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop myself right then and there, because that is a habit that I cannot get into. I hate doing that so much. I don't know about you, Hans, but in casting, I hate naming off operators.
Yeah, and I tend to do that when I'm not sure how to pronounce a specific gamer tag, you know, referring to Linux, not sure how we pronounce, how exactly we're supposed to say. For example, if somebody was, somebody's gamer tag was whiskey, but like whiskey as a word is of course extremely common, so he did spell the I with a J instead, and I called him Wojcicki, and that apparently created a meme because his gamer tag is whiskey, but I never knew about that. Real quick, just to address something Chats is saying, yeah, the Shadow Legacy skin is not banned. We're going to be updating the rule to be doing the same thing as Pro League does starting next season. But yeah, I didn't want to like update the rules in a major way at the end of the season just like that. So yes, Shadow Legacy is going to be allowed, which I believe Roberts is sporting right now. Yeah, there you go. Or is it Shadow Legacy? I don't know skins. Go ahead.
No, that's a smart move to actually be doing that, because I hate when organizations, especially T3 ones, switch things up on you very last minute, just when things come out or when seasons switch. I absolutely hate that, so I'm glad that you're doing that on your part. However, let's get into the game, shall we? So it's a very slow entry this time around from NTNS. It's not too aggressive, and I like that because they're playing together this time around, right? You got about 2 people on the roam clear, and I'm gonna guess that they know that Roberts is sitting around there, but not quite where he is. However, Storm goes down, and then you got an individual engagement, but a kill not collected, unfortunately, so Exile goes down, and it's actually not Roberts sitting in there. Oh, it is! It is Roberts sitting in. Yeah, so Exile and Roberts are sitting there. That was my bad, but... Roberts, he is going to get into a potential engagement between the IQ. Storm has been revived at this point, and they finally successfully completed their roam clear. So now they have control of first floor. You got about 45 seconds left, though, to capitalize on that, and honestly, not a lot of time to do it, so they might have to play the funnel game, the 20-second meta. That's going to lead to a pretty bad outcome for the attack. However, you still got about 5v3, right? So it's a player advantage. They could play off of refrags and might have that going for them.
Well, especially considering Storm and Kunai's health level, the health pool in total is surprisingly similar. Once again, having 2 guns up compared to opponents is a major advantage, but that 5v3 could be brought back down to 3-3 surprisingly quickly, but that is unlikely to happen as Angel is just inserting boldly right there. Pinos gets a kill. That also going to be won by Linux. So you know, it can get turned upside down pretty darn fast, but that's not going to happen. He's just going to be unsuccessful in denying the plant. Knows that somebody on the left tries to hit that, but, you know, he's just not going to get an impact, pun intended, on his opponent. So, 1v3 situation. Diffuser planted. He does have a yokai drone, so his teammates are supposedly feeding some amount of intel. Like, at the very least, they're not here, wherever here happens to be. So, there you have it. Face to face, he was not supposed to win that, but he does. Still, 20 seconds on the clock, and the remaining attacking players will be extremely passive. After all, in their situation, time is the name of the game. So at this point, he really has to just rush in heads down, and there's no way it is round lost. Even if he got those 2 kills, he was never going to make it to Diffuser within 2 seconds. So there you have it. Being clever, patient, and just having a good team cohesion is going to win you the round. This is what NTNS showed to us, you know, when you look at round number 2 compared to the very first round.
A little bit more in depth with that, Hans. I think that Impact put a lot of priority on the roaming. They put 2 players up in reading and dining, or specifically dining and train. And when you have that, they have to be able to play off of each other, and they have to be able to play off of refrags. And they were in completely different rooms, which allowed for the roam clear to come in, okay, play individual gunfights. Storm got down from that, unfortunately. However, Roberts was not able to get into dining. He was not able to support his teammate, which is why the 2-man roam is supposed to be successful by supporting your teammates, and nothing really happened on that. So none of that was capitalized. Roberts did not help, and then he got bit back in the ass because Exile dropped down the hatch and left him alone. So, truthfully, Roberts got screwed over by the lack of support from his teammate, but at the same time, he really didn't support his teammate at all either. And so for them not to have that communication with each other, you just lost 2 great players. and it's already a 5v3, and by that time, the execution's going off, NTNS is making the plant, they get their extra frags and win out the round. Simple.
I'm just gonna switch subjects real quick.
Okay.
So it seems like the stream or chat has a pretty common sentiment that the Shadow Legacy headgear or headsets, not headsets, goddammit, uniforms are a bit too camouflagey. So should I maybe just ban this one or add this one to the ban list, and starting next season, all of the default skins are going to be basically the only thing that's allowed? Wow, I cannot form a cohesion sentence here. So
Yeah, you could totally do that.
I guess I'm going to be adding it because the stream is roasting me, and I guess there's a reason to that. So I may just have to stop being a dummy. And yeah, because I don't like follow trends for the sake of following trends, but if the one skin really is broken, I should maybe add it to like for the rest of the season. And starting next season, all skins are going to be banned by default except the ones that are specifically allowed, and those are like the Pro League skins, which are like bright white, so you really do stand out, and there's no tactical reason to sport them in the first place.
Right. I would totally agree with that. I think that's a great idea from a management standpoint. However, let's actually get into the game, shall we, Han? So it's about 1 minute down, about 1:30 actually, if you're counting seconds here. We got a good roam clear going, or should I say an area control situation. And
yeah, there were no roamers, so you can't say they cleared the roamers.
Right, there isn't any roamers to clear because Impact is playing extremely passive. A very double-edged sword, if I would say so myself, because Kitchen is a very vertical bomb site. And I think Impact had a good idea of roaming the first time around. It's just the way that they executed it wasn't the best.
Yeah, the idea was good execution, absolutely.
Right, if they were to improve the way that they executed the roaming, it could be top-notch. It could be really great. And because they are such a mechanically gifted team, it would work for them, really. It truly would. They just have to play more with each other and not necessarily individualized. However, this allows for an opening for NTNS to play vertical, and that's going to give them an immediate advantage. On the flip side, though, they're not going to get as many frags, which means that Impact playing passive could really work out for them. It forces NTNS to get a little bit uncomfortable when attacking the objective, knowing that you have 5 players up on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, 33 seconds on the clock. All 10 players are still up. Smoke still has 3 canisters in the back pocket. Linux presumably has 2 drones still intact. So really, it can be a difficult, demanding push. It looks... I was expecting Robert to die right there since his cover was blown right next to him. But no, okay, he's gonna die, but that was due to a crossfire, not because of the aggressive push that Sophia intended. And there you have it, Angel Kuna really has to save his team at this point. I used trying something else. He manages to get on OBJ, and Linux is gonna be too late to deny the plan. So Fentix will have to try something, or Echo will have to drop the yokai in a sense. Diffuser has been planted, no revive is going to be possible. Linux getting a nice kill. The audio just died on me, but there you have it. Kunai holding the angle, getting a nice kill, looking for the flick shot. Is that going to happen? What is Fentix doing? He's coming right there. Free firing, but no, that is not going to land. There you have it. NTNS Gaming winning round number 3. That's our 2nd point now.
It is our 2nd point now, which means that NTNS has successfully won Kitchen twice. They've gotten it down. I was a little bit concerned there for them when they were making the execute because it was that 20-second meta strategy. They were funneling into all of those predictable spots, but their mechanical play was very on point. They got out their frags, and they used a little bit of intel to their advantage, knowing that they have the vertical capabilities on their side, which means that they just simply won it out, the upper hand in any way, shape, or form that they could get. They also found their frags, right? That's also a huge thing. Now, looking at that, how Impact could improve it, they definitely need to have a substantial roam on 2nd floor. They definitely need to have at least some type of presence, stopping out time for NTNS, attempting to get the vertical play going, because I know that it was still around 1 minute left on the clock before they started the vertical destruction. However, that's still a lot of time if you want to think about it, right? You still got a lot of time to sledge those floors and attempt that execute. So for them to have that much time, it's definitely a no-no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I'm just blankly agreeing with you because I was doing a few other things.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm like,
no,
I'm always...
I get it. You do your thing, Hans. I'm just gonna keep on talking. I like hearing myself talk.
Okay. Personal anecdote that is absolutely related to the competition, not just like rambling off about my cat or something. So there was a game of the playoffs that I absolutely did want to have streamed that I couldn't host myself. The last one that actually was streamed on this channel, you may know it, between OnlyFans and Mishmash Gaming. And so I really wanted it to be streamed, but I wasn't going to be there, so I needed to find a producer. So I went to a relative of mine who never played Rainbow Six in their life, didn't know OBS at all, but I was like, hey, it's an easy student job. You want to make 15 bucks? They said yeah, and I think I may have found a producer that will be possibly able to help me alleviate the workload on my poor, frail shoulders starting next season, and that is going to be amazing because I will not be hesitating as much as I'm doing right now starting next season, and that is going to be amazing. With that being said, there's a drone on Robert, so I doubt his chances of survival are good. So yeah, that was my
I'm doing
rant.
things on my own part too, so yeah, I'm a little sidetracked at the moment. Sorry about that. But the situation is you got about 2 minutes left on the clock. About 140 actually. Storm, he's down off the board. That's your entry fragger, which you don't necessarily want him off the board, given that he does give you a lot of utility and fragging capability. But to have him off the board is not the biggest issue. It's not like a hard breacher that you're gonna need as round time goes on. That actually is going to be for the ace to do, and for us not to worry our pretty little heads about now from below. That was obviously not a great entry for NTNS because they got bested from below. Not only that, but from the pixel white peak. Unfortunate as it is, you can definitely tell Cigar at this point is a kill box, but with the 1v5, it's not too much of a chance for Kunai to get anything done anyways.
He's pre-firing the wrong angles, like he was pre-firing the murder hole when you should have been shooting at the doorway. Trying their best, but at this point, I mean, Impact got a flawless round. Kunai did his best, but it was just a losing battle. There was no way he was gonna pull it off, especially considering how low he was, because, well, that really was just Jaeger finishing off past business, because he did put Ash this low, and he wasn't able to finish her off when in the reading room / pillars area. So really, it was just the continuation of an ongoing firefight, which had a very long pause. With that being said, yeah, Impact really do seem to be thriving on the top floor, but Kitchen, we saw it, right? Kitchen is problematic for them, and they're gonna be going there again. Surprise, surprise. They just won here. They can't go there again. AKA, how is it gonna go, or how is it going to end? Because if that's the only way for Impact to win their rounds, basing my assessment off of historical data, while I have a hiccup, a 4-2 split for NTNS wouldn't be too surprising, which is something that you as a defender would wish not to happen. Or is that how you say it? Yeah, and also I believe Amara said something very similar to a sentiment I am personally harboring inside of me. I don't know skins for shit, so if you guys spot an illegal skin, please do let me know, because yeah, I am bad at spotting illegal skins. Like if the one is obviously tan, like Desert Camouflage tan, I'm going to spot it as a Wind Bastion, but that's basically the extent of my knowledge about the game. You can see I'm not a huge skins nerd on Rainbow Six, but with that being said, it is going to be interesting to see, because first time they defended Kitchen, Impact had like this 2 or 3 roam game, you know? Second time, that was by round number 3, they had no roamers at all. They played the, you know, turtle strategy, which almost worked. You know, it was a 20 seconds push, the 20 seconds push meta, which is supposed to be dying thanks to recent updates from Ubisoft. This time it worked, so hey, more power to NTNS. But here, I mean, Impact have 2 rounds worth of history to base their next or current, should I say, strategy off of. And this is exactly what we're going to be seeing. What has happened? It's going to be a full frontal push. Kunai is already on bombs. That's a full-on rush on the far left. Thrown right there. There's going to be Valkyrie. Flick shot. The Wow, is Diffuser already going to be planted? Kunai triple kill. He's going to be looking at an ace. And Roberts and no Exile will be attempting to deny the plant as much as they can. But that seems to be an uphill battle. And that is just not going to happen. So, 2v5 situation. Obviously, there's going to be a few air jabs planted here and there. So really, I don't see how at this point the defense could pull it off. So yeah, NTNS Gaming will just be winning it at the 3rd round in the kitchen bar. Oh, and that's going to be Ash, so no ace for Kunai. His initial entry, though, was amazing. Getting refragged immediately thereafter, leaving us with Roberts, who also gets a pick of his own. But, yeah, he's still going to be in a 1v3 situation, plus air jabs here and there. He really cannot just push in or get one kill and force the advantage that he gets by doing that. So really, 9 seconds on the clock. It's round over. Nicely done. Nicely tried. Like, the retake situation is what the game or the main round should have been all about, because it really was a kill for a kill. Both teams were trading blows, but Impact really just could not win the war of attrition. Truly. Also, I don't know if it's the game, but I'm hearing a very slight white noise in my headset. I think it started when the noise bug happened. So I hope that's not something you guys hear in your headsets.
I am officially back.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed you were gone before we jumped into replays. You missed the hell of a round. You know what? Let me just, because I had still not done that. Let me just screen share you like the OBS screen so that you can see the replays. Let me put this bigger and let's just watch the replays. Like 2 minutes 20 seconds. Ash got her 2nd kill, looking for a 3rd right there as Diffuser gets planted. This was a rush from the bakery. So Impact, we're still setting up like some kind of roaming game, and NTNS just did not care about the roamers at all. So this was really one-sided for the first 30 seconds. Then in the 2v5 situations, Impact Esports being way more cautious than, well, the anchor players, they were trading blow for blow, like 2v5, 2v4, 1v4, 1v3, and that was the end of the round thereafter. But all in all, had the end of the round been representative of the entire round, Impact Esports may have had a fighting chance, but as it was, absolutely not.
Huh. Yeah. So a rush strat that actually works says a lot about the player's cohesion mechanical ability on the part of the attack, which is definitely something you don't want to see as a defender.
Yeah.
That's gonna definitely switch things around in terms of mindset and play style when it comes to those defenders. And now, something even more interesting to note, it's a 3-2 score line. And so the best thing that Impact can hope for is a 3-3 score line by the time that we make the switch. However, we know Cafe to be a very defense-sided map. Yeah. And we normally see the 4-2 split. So for us to be seeing a 3-3 split also says something about the talent that these two teams are presenting against one another.
Real quick, so your microphone's tonality sounds completely different, almost robotic, so I would tend to say it's a bit more of a glitch or something than really just the mic being in place or something. So I don't know if you want to restart Discord or something, but really if you listen to yourself in the stream, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
Got it.
I don't want to be mean or anything, but yeah, something is wrong in your setup, and it's probably just software based. Looks like there's going to be yet again a really hard aggressive push diffuser already being planted. Wait, Pinos could deny that, but no, he failed in realizing that he was literally rubbing shoulders with Lycos, who was planting the diffuser. Could have knifed the damn guy. Unfortunately, he did not realize that due to the factor of him being in the smoke. Had he been on an evil eye, there's no maestro, but you get what I mean, or even just a ward, that would have been the end of the push for NTNS Gaming, because admittedly, pushing as hard as they are, this is taking risks, and those risks are paying off, but if you were not cautious, yeah, the opposite could very well be true.
And so it pays off. It's another seemingly rush strategy that works us into a reverse 4-2 split for NTNS Gaming. Now on to round 7, we're going to be seeing Impact going on their attack rounds, and they're obviously going to be at a huge deficit when it comes to round count. Not only the obvious being pointed out, but in terms of side swap. Because, once again, I'll reiterate this. Cafe is a super defense-sided map, so for the team going 4-2, is going to be, obviously, at a big fault here. They're losing out their rounds on defense, and now they're going to have to switch up something very drastically on their attack. And from what I saw from that round, it definitely seemed like more of, and I'm going to say this word sparingly because I hate using this word. I'm going to say ranked round. I'm going to put it out there. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there because I did see a rush strategy. Now, these players are super mechanically gifted from NTNS. However, they did something that you would normally never see in T2, definitely never, well, you've seen it, but normally never see in T1, and they did it for 2 rounds in a row. That's the big thing. I could, see a rush strategy being played out maybe 1 time during the game, right? It does not happen the second time. But for it to work out 2 times in a row, that's a sight to see.
Absolutely.
And that's concerning.
And here's something else, by the way. So this is round number 7. I mean, we've mentioned it, but not... We've inferred it more than, say it black and white, basically. It was role swap. NTNS Gaming are now defending, and they will be breaking tradition if Impact Esports' precedent was to be considered tradition, in the sense that we're going to be having a reading and dining defense first and foremost. So no top floor, no kitchen, nothing along those lines. It is interesting enough. I mean, this bomb site specifically is considered, very balanced and very doable, but it's not something that we've come accustomed to see. So that was something I wanted to point out. There's absolutely going to be a top floor presence. I mean, just look at Storm right here. Lycos is in the white stairs. Oh, is he preparing a run out? I mean, he could, considering that there's a little Linux rappelling up here. And really, you are going to have to push from the top down, because, yeah, Impact Esports would be hard-pressed to get the diffuser planted without having top floor control. That is for sure.
Most definitely, and I'm going to be surprised if Nomad did not put an air jab up on that white stairs run out, and that's why I think Storm kind of backed off, knowing that there's a Nomad sitting on that wall specifically, because you know that the second that you run out, it's just going to be air jab city. So you definitely don't want to try your hand at that. However, still close but no cigar for Linux. He's not going to find any heads, he's not going to find any bodies, and that's not good, right? You got the 130 left on the clock. You're going to have to do something here if you want to make moves. Now, Impact, however, they're going to be finding their way through Cigar. And now in the objective, surprisingly, as it's going to be a very split push from them. They're going to be on one side and another, and it's already a 4v4. Chaos will ensue at this point. The execute shall be put into full swing. And the boys from NTNS are not looking so hot. They are on the floor below as Impact have officially taken control of the objective, but this opens them up from vertical play from below as Angel finds his way through and kills Exel.
Yeah, so having top floor control is not to be underestimated, definitely, but that is not the end all be all, as we just seen right here. Basically, you can really well protect a planted diffuser by having top floor control, but that in and of itself is not going to get the diffuser planted, which is something NTNS Gaming, or should I say Impact Esports, stuck in the past here. They're going to have to consider this pretty darn quickly because, well, the timer is starting to run decently low. So it is going to be the Exile. Players are dropping down from the top floor, pulling out the shotgun when you're peeking. Valkyrie is going to be a poor life choice, and he's going to be paying the price here. And oh my gosh, Valkyrie is actually pushing forward. So there you have it. Ayuz is going to get caught off guard, or he's going to get a kill, actually catching Linux off guard, almost getting the quad, but no, Ace is going to say no you to that. 3 lone health, 3 seconds, round over. NTNS Gaming will be heading into the next stage of the game with 5 points to their name.
Surprised. That was a very interesting round. I expected the attack team to keep control and keep security. I think the issue there for Impact specifically was the fact that they did not have any flank drones, they did not have any security under control, and they did not bring the execute, they did not bring the plant into full swing the second that they got into the objective. You have to make the plant. You have to force the defenders to rotate up unless, you know, you already killed all the defenders, which you obviously haven't done. There were still a lot of them left up on the board, and they were all sitting below. So that already brings the cocktail spot into a kill box. You find one, and then you just go from there. There was no execute to be had. There was nothing that was capitalized on. And so Impact loses the round because they were not able to keep their spot. They're not able to keep their positioning definite. They allowed NTNS to walk all over them.
And so here's my question. Impact Esports, the two only rounds they were successful in winning were their defenses of the top floor of the cocktail bar and cocktail lounge, I think is the exact name of the area. And as such, defending anything else or attacking just about any area of the map was an utter failure for them. And their morale is likely somewhat low at this point. Do you still see a path to victory for them, or do you think at this point it's too late, they've lost, and they might as well start thinking about the rest, or about the next matches, the next maps? Are you still there? It was not a rhetorical question. If you're there, it was a true question.
My bad. No, I had my mic off. So if they keep the form up that they have right now, I definitely do not think they're going to win this, and that they are going to have to make a switch if they want to look forward to this game to still be won. Now, if they want to keep up the same things that they're doing, yeah, they'll just look for the next match or even the match after that and, you know, not fix anything that they've been doing wrong. And obviously, you do not want to do that as a team, right? So you want to be able to fix things during the match, try to find the round wins. However, Exile, he gets the first kill. That's on Storm, baby. That is your mute going down. It's your player that you're allowed to have killed, right? It's the man that's allowed to swing on things and still die because he has his utility already down. He has a shotgun. I mean, that's a deadly combo right there. That's a man that's got nothing to lose at that point.
And there you have it. So the roamers are doing their job, but they're also falling and losing players slowly but surely. Ayuz was the last roamer alive. He gets one pick, but he's not going to be forcing his luck, dropping down instead, and now he's safe on OBJ, but with very little health. Sadly, there is no dog to come out and help him. So it is going to be very reminiscent of when NTNS actually were attacking those, you know, with a slow and methodical counter roam or roam clear play, and then, well, it's up to the OBJ we go. Unfortunately, though, Buck has died. I mean, Ash could maybe breach the floor a little bit. She does have the breaching charges and, of course, the infiltration charge. Well, her gadget, basically. So she does have some soft breaching capabilities, but it's nowhere near the level of Buck or what Sledge could have brought to the table. So at the very least, like, she can say, oh, this small part of the map is safe for now. But that's, once again, not going to get the diffuser planted. Roberts is holding the angle. That should actually allow Fantix to destroy the hard wall, and thus the attackers may have their entryway into the objective. But it really is going to be a do-or-die situation. Look at the clock. They're not allowed a plan B. If Fantix's push fails, or if he dies and loses the diffuser, I mean, realistically, they're not going to be having any kind of time to try to salvage the situation. Angel is using up his smoke canisters a bit prematurely, might I add. I mean, looking at how NTNS or how Impact Gaming are positioned, they were not exactly ready to funnel in or to start actively pushing in by the time the first canister did pop. There you have it. Linus getting a first kill. Roberts is down, so that was the top floor support gone. And now he's going to have to try and plan. But oh no, their hatch was a huge problem. He now has 1 second. He has to stick to the plant. Of course, Ayuz is going to make extremely short work of him. Is he? Yeah, he is gonna. He was going to. And that's an ace for Ayuz. I didn't see that coming. Wow.
And you definitely are right in that they had one chance to do it right, and they did not, unfortunately, do it right. They did not play very well off of intel, they did not play very well off of communication, and there wasn't too much there when it came to mechanical skill level. Now, if all else fails, you go to mechanical skill level, wasn't necessarily there for them. They were not able to hit their shots, and that's something we can say objectively, right? We don't want to be too subjective as casters, but we can say that they were not able to get their kills. And it's a 6-2 scoreline, and now they're backed up. They're very much on the back foot, so they're going to have to change something once again, very creatively, to say the least, if they want to win this out. I want to see split pushes at the very least. I do not want to see individual plays. I want to see a cohesive team that at least, if nothing else, go all together. Just do one linear push. Try to make that work. It cannot be one person on a single push. It needs to be more than that. It at least needs to be one person droning you in, one person doing something on the support for you, and maybe one person getting the frag. I wouldn't even expect that much. But it needs to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, realistically, anything that Impact can try, I mean, that they're not already doing. If you don't even want to try to go with a problem-solving mentality, hit or miss, you know, with a trial and error approach, because what they're doing right now does not work. So I'm repeating myself and going at it in a roundabout way, but basically, you know, the status quo is unsustainable for them. So any kind of new innovation, be it better or worse, even if you're messing up with your first try, with a new luck, the second one is going to work, because once again, they have to break the status quo. And status quo is apparently shooting at your teammates. I did hear like the small impact sound, but Storm didn't lose any health, so hey, that's just Rainbow Six for you. Storm is going to be happy about that. Roberts seems to be absolutely ready to funnel in. Also, it looks like Pinos is also, you know, taking point in the first floor, so he's going to be pushing up the red stairs. And Roberts, well, will be taking care of white stairs. So it looked like we're going to be seeing the split push that you did want to see happen. And let's take that for good news. However, attempting something does not equate to it either succeeding or to it being a good idea, because at the very least they are splitting their resources. And I think the Goo Mine still does make a bit of sound in there. You have it. He is going to be swung, and this is how Storm gets the kill.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't have a single person moving up white like that with nobody to support them. You at least need to try to play up the refrags, or need to try to get control of readings. Something to support your player on that. You can't just have your entry being killed right off the bat like that. It doesn't work, especially for Impact being down so much. However, kills going down on the board. You got Linus and Kunai off this board. You got your Nomad and your Jaeger. We can obviously tell that this is not a fair trade, right? Nomad is a huge support operator. You don't want her off the board, especially at the beginning of the round. And Jaeger, I mean, he has the ability to roam, so you're free to kill him, you know what I mean? Like, his main objective is to waste time for the attackers, and that is exactly what he's did, right? You only got 1 minute left on the board as Impact, and you need to make a move as soon as possible. You got Ace up on the board, you got Zofia, and you got Buck. You got a lot of utility to work with. On top of that, you got hard breachers to work with. Use them. For the love of God, please use them, okay?
Yeah.
You still got 4 players left up on the board for NTNS, but now it's still 4, and the attack is reduced to 2. You got your Buck off the board, which is unfortunate. Lots and lots of soft launching capabilities lost. And now, not Exile, he's moving in alone. Not alone. Ventix is going to be on his left side, his right-hand man, if you'll call it that. And at this point, right, it's just playing passive games and holding cross angles and being able to play off of refrags. And there you go. NTNS wins it out.
Yep, indeed. NTNS is going to take the cake. So that was map number 1 for them in a fairly one-sided manner. I mean, once again, the only bomb site on which Impact Gaming were able to win were the absolute easiest of the entire map, so without giving them any kind of advantage, or when they had to play it quote-unquote fair game. I don't want to imply that they were cheating or that they were gaining an unfair advantage, but you know, as soon as they didn't have the easiest time possible, you know, all things considered, everything just went downhill for Impact Gaming. I want to say, though, this was NTNS's pick, maps-wise, so at the very least, with any kind of luck, we'll be having a second map that is going to be easier for them, it being Clubhouse, because basically, well, Impact Esports decided to go there, so logic would dictate that they would be feeling a bit more confident on that very map.
We're hoping that they're confident on that very map, because what I see from Impact is that their attacks are very frag heavy, yet they're lackluster, because they were extremely hesitant on how to attack Cafe. They were playing very defaulty, one man up the stairs type of attacks. You don't necessarily want that, right? I'm looking at it right on the feed. It's Roberts, okay? That's the perfect example of what we've been seeing from Impact attacks. They're very, split pushes, but from the other side, it's extremely unilateral. You don't see very much strategy behind it, and you want to see that, especially for Clubhouse to be a very strategy-based map. You're going to have to be seeing a lot of team cohesion and synergetic playthrough. Now, I'm going to guess that NTNS is going to, just from how I've been seeing them play for their first map, I'm going to say that they have a good chance at winning this out if they can get very creative on the way that they play their defenses. We know exactly from what you said, we know that they have a relatively innovative strat set and that they'll be able to play around with Clubhouse is what I'm guessing. But again, Clubhouse still, it comes down to those default strats and being able to improvise, which is something that Impact hasn't necessarily been able to do extremely efficiently, which is why I'm going to guess that they're going to be made very quick work of.
So I didn't want to bring this up mid-game, but your microphone still is being a bit weird like it was before.
It is? Oh no.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
okay.
I see that you were reading chat because you did answer to somebody at some point, but the comment had been in French, so no surprise that you didn't notice it. But somebody was asking, hey, is the co-caster a robot? Or like the microphone is still slightly off or still slightly weird. So I just wanted to point that out. But hey, it happens. You're good.
Okay, so let me try to fix this somehow. So somebody said in the chat, I think it'll be a 2-1. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but let me leave and then try to reconnect my mic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is this any better?
Unfortunately not.
Damn, okay.
Is
this changing anything?
you may have to really just restart Discord or unplug it and plug it back. The stereotypical IT guy stuff. Just did you turn it off and on again?
Yeah, okay. Let me try this. Alright. Hello?
Hello. Yeah, no, still not.
Is this any better?
Unfortunately not.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that there's a difference between the way that my mic is
Like, okay, so here's a question. Do you have different microphones? Like, do you have a webcam? Because webcams usually have a mic, and like just tapping on either the webcam or the headset mounted mic, this usually helps us determine if we're at the very least picking up the right device. If you know what I mean.
Okay, hello?
Yes, hello.
Do I sound any better?
Unfortunately not. Maybe maybe it's me. Let me just reboot my Discord. Just to be sure. So that is Discord off. Restarting Discord now. It is starting up. Has really nobody voted for the who's gonna win thing? And I am back.
Hello?
It probably was me. Okay, I'm sorry about that. You sound absolutely perfect now.
It's all right. Okay, so I think it will be a close match. Cannot bet on something, but pretty sure that it will be a 2-1. But for who? I'm gonna guess that he didn't necessarily know who it was going to be for. I'm going to guess NTNS is going to win this 2-0. From what I've seen from the first match of attacking, and once again, attacking means a lot on Clubhouse, just as much as it means on Cafe. Your attack rounds, yes, you only should have to win 2, but if you lose any less than that, it's going to mean quite a lot for the defense going into their attack rounds. It means a lot for the confidence of them. It means a lot for the way that they can play out their strategies. They can, loosen up their grip a little bit. And for that, Impact is really going to have to pull something out here. I'm going to guess that since this is their map pick, they're definitely more confident on it. So they're going to have something prepared for their attack rounds and their defense rounds. Maybe they just weren't very well versed in Cafe, because of the fact that we see a lot of confusion with the way that they're trying their attacks. But they're actually not going to be on defense first, right? They're going to be on attack.
Correct. Yes. Impact are attacking first.
They're
So
attacking
there's
first.
going to be, this small update or this small change in dynamics because they were able to get a few early points at the beginning of the last map due to the fact that they were defending. So this inherent advantage is not going to be there this time around. Let's see if it affects them adversely or in the good way.
Right, and we know that Impact is going 7-0 right now. So if NTNS can dethrone them, then honestly, that might put them a little bit to shame here. Truthfully, going into Clubhouse. Because regardless of who chooses the map, a lot of it really depends on the player bans. A lot of it depends on who's going to be on defense. And for NTNS to be on defense, that could be huge. Now,
So,
Mav and Thatcher are out.
I was going to comment on a small something that has nothing to do with the operator bans, but like with the team composition as a whole, Impact Gaming, they are not playing with their team leader slash founder slash central figure, that being Alvine. Alvine is in the chat. If you're keep an eye on chat, I mean, he's being pretty active on there, so there's no way of actually missing him. And basically, the head figure usually is a pretty solid fragger or an inspiring person at the very, very least. And this is something that I find ever so slightly surprising because he arguably is he's a good asset to his team, and that might be part of the reason as to why they're performing below the baseline expectations that I've set for them in my mind when comparing their actual performance compared to their previous performances. So all that to say, and I don't mean like to meddle with their internal management things, but seeing as like a really good player is in chat, why are you bringing a substitute player in? Because Roberts is the first time he's playing with us tonight, as far as I can tell, and basically I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to assume that the substitute player doesn't know the team as well as like the team leader does. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to assume he's not too familiar with the strategies, and he's just filling in. So he could be he could have to play just about any operator depending on who he's filling in for. So just having this backup player when the main guy is available should, according to my mental calculations, make the team slightly less efficient, which is something that I find a bit odd and almost unfortunate for Impact Gaming, because at this point the winner that wins this match is guaranteed money, because the winner of this match is going to be at the point where even if you lose your next matches, you're going to be in the top 3.
Right. And for Impact to have that one player playing off, your entry fragger, might I add, is very substantial. It is extremely substantial. Roberts, you gotta get on your plane, and you gotta be able to pick up the frags for your team. That's the whole point of your role. And if you can't do that, then you might have to switch roles with one of your fellow players. And I think it really comes down to the IGL and how they can get Roberts under control, how they can lead Roberts, because we saw on Cafe, he played a lot of the white stairs take, but then he got fragged out by the defense. He got fragged out by simple plays from the defense, simple swings, which should not have happened. And for him to get fragged out like that, not necessarily the best play. He could have been led a lot better, maybe. Maybe could have been led a lot better.
So real quick, I'm just gonna put Alvine on the spot. Alvine, if you're still in chat, why are you in chat? Why aren't you in game? I'm just genuinely curious at this point. Plus, we didn't actually acknowledge it, but this is going to be what I like to call the quote-unquote SSG basement strat, and it looks like Mute is already dead. Not sure exactly how that came to be from a cross angle from a window. Maybe no, the windows are still intact. Not from that window, because of course, is there an opening here? Probably cross angles because the soft wall has been breached. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is the SSG basement strat basically collapsing in and of itself. Kunai, who was supposed to remove the top floor, is now gone. Basically, Storms could be pushed at any moment, so he is likely gonna have to fall back on OBJ himself as well. That rotation has been cut off, but there's still the hatch. He is just not yet ready to abandon ship though. Just clinging on to hope. It might be a foolish hope, or it might actually pay out. We will have to wait and see. For the time being, though, Ayuz is going to be able to equate or balance out the scores, so he's also going to get kill of his own. Fentix still looking for Storm, but Roberts is going to find him first. So
shows up.
We were talking about Roberts having to show up. He does.
All
Though
right,
a single
let's go.
kill is not going to be enough to save the round at this point.
Great performance.
It's a beginning, though. Yeah, and also
It's a beginning.
Absolutely.
All right. So about 1 minute left in the round. You got a 4v3 situation, and NTNS has split up their players pretty nicely, might I add. You got one sitting in blue, you got one sitting in armory, and then I believe the other one is either...
They're all bar.
Yeah, oh, they're all... Well,
Yeah.
the attack is all bar, but I meant the defense.
Oh, you meant the
That's all.
defense. Oh,
Yes, the
sorry about
defense.
that.
NTNS, yeah, they got their players split up pretty nicely between the objectives, which is something you definitely like to see. It's a lot of good, you know, area control, right? It just depends on impact to disperse of those players at this point, right? They're going to be playing a lot of hard breach control and a lot of vertical play, which again is something that is going to be well in terms of switching out the
That's diffuser.
G strat. Whoa!
That's diffuser. He no longer
Diffuser
cares.
down.
There's only 6
my
seconds on
Lord,
the clock.
That's the biggest play.
Roberts has to say
Ayoops!
this. Roberts.
Oh.
No.
No!
Wow.
Oh my god, they had that ready too.
Yes, but Ash was also shooting at. Ash was shooting at Melusi when she was coming up the stairs, and Melusi just evaded detection somehow. Cheated death. Actually, that was amazing. Unfortunately, I mean, there it is,
Cheated
right?
death
Hitting the
hunts.
edge.
That's a really light way to put it. That's a really light way to put it.
It is. It is.
That's
Yeah,
an
Exim.
extremely light way to put it.
I'm always reading chat. I'm sorry if I'm like cutting you
Alright.
off there.
So looking back at that impact, I liked how they began the round. Of course, they did not foresee what would happen when it came to Melusi. That again was a round breaker. It should not have been a round breaker. They should have had players on deck waiting for the refrag. You cannot put that much power into one player to show up for you without expecting the ability to refrag in that short amount of time. It should not have happened. They should have had players sitting around kitchen, especially if they were going to execute in armory. But they did not do that, and it allowed for a hole in the attack to appear, which is what Melusi, very masterfully as I can add, played around very well. She exploited that. And for that, that's a round for NTNS, in a round that they definitely should not have won, having a player disadvantage like that. Now, Impact, they're going to have to do something very different this time, being that not only are we on a different site, but they cannot place that much reliability, that much dependability in one player. They really cannot. You cannot do that, especially in round.
So, oh gosh, I am. Wait, that was from that window. Wow, wow. Okay, so that was Roberts just pre-firing. I think it was the R4C.
Good night,
Okay, yeah.
EXO. Oh my gosh, I have all these people from FCS coming in. All the
really?
players, yes. We got around 73 people in the stream right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So I guess you're watching chat. Somebody did compliment
chat.
you earlier.
EXO. Oh man, rip EXO. 2020 to 2020.
Okay.
And he showed up and then he left.
No, because I muted him for 5 minutes because like he was.
Oh, he was spamming.
Yeah, he was spamming stuff in French, but like when you say in French, "Go kill yourself," yeah, that in my mind warrants a 5 minutes ban. I'm sorry, Exam, but that does not fly.
Oh no. EXO, buddy, what'd you do? Oh boy. All right, let's get into the game.
So, yeah, right here, there is Ayuz absolutely ready to watch for the drop. So that's going to be Roberts, who absolutely cannot allow himself to push from that angle. Either that, or he's going to have to get a mighty flick shot game on Ayuz there, because if not, he's dead before his feet even touch the floor. And, you know, the drone did gather intel on Ayuz's positioning, so I would absolutely not bet on him dropping down. In a sense, he's just watching angles and cutting off rotations, though I don't see who would want to rotate through that specific area of the map, given the current situation of things. So that is the situation for one angle. The other side is right here. So that is hard breaching working. I mean, that's an understatement, obviously. Ace is also breaching the wall on the right-hand side, trying to get those cheeky cross angles over there. Whose silhouette is that? That looks like a Smoke or a Storm. Yeah, that's going to be Storm. He's not looking the right way, though. So if he's unlucky, Exile could maybe get a little kill on Storm, but Storm seems to be aware of that. Ayu's getting a nice double kill. Yeah, he's low on health, though, so I doubt he's going to be trying this again. But, yeah, he is...
Man got his kills. He can play passive the rest of the round for all we care. Jesus.
And then double kill Nitro Cell. This is going to be a double kills game. Double kills game, yeah.
Double kills round, as a matter of fact. Yeah,
round, actually,
He's being held on the cross angles in basically every single spot you can imagine, right? Yep, it's going to be the Goyo to peek out. Finalizes him from Laji Kunai. But the thing that I really didn't like about that was their hesitation when it came to any attacking power. The fact that the rotation was... It's weird because they had hesitation in really weird spots of the round. Like, they were watching angles as an Ashe at really weird times, and then at other times when that aggression wasn't needed, they got way too overly aggressive and tried to execute. It was very lackluster when it came to it. It's like they didn't know how to pace out their round, and they did not know how to attack correctly, which is what got them punished very dearly for it, right? You got a double kill from, I think it was Ayuz, he was playing Jaeger, gets a double kill from Construction Area, probably Laji specifically, and then you get a double Nitro Cell kill. What that says to me, double Nitro Cell kill specifically, is the fact that Impact was so predictable on their run-in from Jacuzzi that they got Nitro Celled so hard they got killed from the hard breach angle, I think. I think it was from the hard breach angle, and then on top of that, you got IU's waiting for somebody to drop hatch. They probably did, and they got fragged from it. That's my best guess on what happened on that area of the map. So they were dispelled with, to say the least. And even though it was a split push, it was a very futile one at that. It was dealt with really easily, simply put.
Let's just analyze this run here. You rarely do see a castle, and that opening is not a rotation. There's not much missing for it to be a proper rotation. But why give your it's not. Why give your enemies line of sight or
you're giving yourself
even
line of sight.
mobility? But
No.
they're castle barricades. They're not going to be seeing that.
No. You're giving yourself line of sight. If you have somebody play in bar, and or if you have somebody holding a cross angle from construction looking into stock, you can so you got somebody playing around bar, so that's a very easy angle to play, and it's going to be an angle that shuts down stock entirely, and an angle I'm gonna guess that Impact doesn't necessarily know about, and they're going to get bested from. That's going to be my guess on that. However, no, it's Storms on the Bandit trick. He's going to have to get dealt with probably in the next coming about 30 seconds, I'm going to say, from Lounge. And that's where that castle barricade, that's where those rotate angles, quote-unquote rotate angles, come in. Because you're not going to be able to take away the reinforcement if you can't deal with what's underneath it.
Absolutely. I mean, you can distract Storm as much as you want. You're not going to get the kill on him with Flash. I mean, he did bite, but the Flash was not supposed to prevent the Bandit battery from being planted down, you know? So all that just to say, hey, hard breaching is going to be a success after all. They had their hurdles, but they were able to overcome them, you know? Lyko is here on the garage rafters. He's going to be trying to deny access to, first and foremost, the garage door, and also the breach that just happened to blow a few moments ago. That turn right there is going to get shut down. But here's my question. So the player that was right there is Exile. He's playing with a sniper rifle, and that is going to work. There you go. That's always the trade-off, right? Very, very low firepower. You really have to make your shots count.
And that's why they banned Kali in Cafe, right there.
Yeah, there you go. So can I say phase exile? Or, yeah, pulling off like the old Call of Duty memes. But yeah, that was an amazing sniper shots. Ayuz could still save the round in the sense that he could shut down that angle for Exile, but Exile is actually not pushing up. And the defenders, Storm getting one kill, has to reload. That's going to be the end of him. And that just fell apart pretty darn quickly.
It was a hasty execute, but it worked so well because they found the hole in the defense. They played extremely mechanically. and they just got their kills. That's really what it was. They got the area control that they needed to make the execute possible, and they did it.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. That's what they did, okay? They got the kills in Raptors. They got the kills in Construction. They found their way good with round here, right? And then you basically boa constrictor them from outside of the site, make your execute, get the kills. Simple as that. Now, something that I was really concerned about was how the hard breach was going to be pulled out. They did it, but I'm kind of wondering how it actually happened. Do you know how they were able to do the hard breach?
So you had a few other supporting operators, right? So there was Hibana shooting from the window on the other side of the balcony, you know, right there. And the flash grenade was apparently enough to make him hesitate, because he was going to plant the bandit battery down and he was going to deny that second ace charge. But the flash, on a split-second decision, he reconsidered and he fled, even though the flash grenade itself wouldn't have been an actual threat to him, and that wouldn't have denied the animations such as, you know, a Zofia concussion they would have, you know? So at the end of the day, I want to say it was the pressure under the moment, or, you know, in a split-second decision. He did, in a sense, made a mistake.
Or
but
the
that
lack of
happens.
decision. Okay.
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
lack of decision. I'm gonna
also.
say that. I know, I'm really just playing devil's advocate to you tonight. I'm so sorry, Hans.
No, you're right.
Okay, let's get into this match, shall we? Let's get into this round. So, we have a bottom floor defense. It's obviously not going to be the famed SSG roam this time around. You have no castle up on the board, so we can't see that one happening. However, you do have a lot of hard breach people on the board for Imp or Impact. You got Ace and Habana. That's actually a lot of hard breach capability, which is why I'm going to guess that they're going to play a lot of hatches, and they might do church wall for the execute into church. That could be something that we see. Or they could try to take control of blue and use their ace charges on that. But we know Ace as a player that's generally used for walls rather than hatches. He just doesn't work well with hatches. So Habana's going to take the lead on the hatches, while Ace is going to primarily do walls. Now, I just have to wonder, where are those charges going to go?
Yeah, so it's either likely going to right there. Well, Ace did already open the container, so he did open up the tunnel. And no, he didn't. He still has 2 charges with that must have been Linux. He still has 18 pellets. I'm not really used to seeing the actual pellet number remaining. But yeah, so in total, that means that Ace can absolutely still work on, for example, church wall if he did decide to do that. But that's also a bit of a danger, because once you open up church wall, well, then the attackers can really easily bottleneck you at the bottom of the staircase, which can basically nip you in the butt if you're not careful. I did do my team more than once for opening this wall prematurely. So you'd have to be sure that your teammates, that the attackers, have a solid foothold on, for example, Moto, at the very least, to have a rotation point should everything else fail. But hey, that's going to be up to the teams to prepare that kind of stuff. Right here, an interesting thing with the new Hibana system is that you're a bit less vulnerable to the impact fixing, right? He's not wasting 6 pellets at a time, so another 2 are likely to attract another impact nade, or maybe Kunai or Yalaikos right there is going to be denying 1, or did it blow, or did it not blow symmetrically, or whatever ended up happening. Oh no, that was too early. That was way too early. Fentix, come on.
Baby, but you got Pinos.
Yeah, with the double kill.
Frags, right? The double kill. You got a use and Storm going down from blue. The man's got the mechanical ability to show up, which means that you don't even necessarily need the hatches, the hard breach to work. However, you got a response from church, and no, it's gonna be Maestro to go down 1v4, and it gets shaped up by Imp all the way from their super wonderful mechanical ability. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna touch on it again. They have really good fragging power. They just need to be able to work their attacks so they don't push so individually. They need to have good leadership on the IGL. They need to have at least split pushes, which is what we've been seeing from Club, right? It's a 2-2 score line, so they still have a lot to work with. They have gotten their points for the role swap, which means that by the time they hit the role swap, they don't necessarily need to focus on winning out the rest of these rounds. However, they're still going to go for them, right? We got Jembejo coming up, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was it for the replays. What I do like to see is that it's a 2-2 split. So obviously Impact Esports are having way more success right now than before. So in a sense, and they're still attacking. So considering that this is a defense-sided map, I would hold up hope for them. Because once again, their performances on Cafe were notoriously poor, considering how far along in this tournament we are, and considering, I mean, the previous baseline of expectation they've set with their past successes. So it's nice to see that they're not going to be given up after, you know, losing one map badly.
Right. I'm glad that they keep a calm mind in this and they understand that, hey, you know, we lost Cafe, but we can get right back into this and go on to Oregon for our final map. I like that. Definitely. Keep themselves in the game here. Now, again, we're going to be going to Gym Bedroom. And so, we're going to be seeing an extended hold. Nothing too new, right, from NTNS. Their strats aren't anything spectacular, but the hope is that they work, right? So we got Goyo up on the board. That's a little interesting. He's going to be used to obviously have those shields there. Not only that, but to block off those important pathways that attackers need to control in order to find their way to the objective. You see, obviously, that red is being held off. I'm going to guess that there is either going to be one around cash or something along the lines of construction, right? You want to be able to hold off as much time for impact. However, he knows. Oh, boy, he gets a kill.
He's just going off.
Early round, I know. He's going off, man. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop there. This man is a kill machine. However, Raptor is under control now by the attack. And you got about 1 minute down on the round already, so you're gonna hope to have Raptors in your control, but you want to go even farther with that road clear, right? Kunai all at once. It's a sweep for the kills. Roberts in exile. Find the shots, and I use Kunai.
Yeah, that round is lost for NTNS Gaming. They've lost way too many players way too early into the round.
They did.
So really, I mean, okay, playing devil's advocate, the two remaining operators are plant denial operators. Active gadgets, not passive. I mean, they can still, for example, use the Vulcan shields, but that was just not gonna fly. So Likos, you have the heavy-hitting NMG, but no, that was just too much to ask of him. He was in a, you know, pretty good position. I mean, the bathroom is easy to defend on with a one-man army type of scenario, but at the end of the day, it was just, you know, too much to ask of him. A grenade or a Kapitao bolt would have been the end of him, and he couldn't peek freely because, of course, the angle was going to be held. So he tried his best. You can't take that away from him. But really, it was just too much to ask of them to have a 2v5 situation. Angel getting back up right where he did. That also was an unforgivable mistake.
You placed too much. Once again, you placed too much power in having your roaming operators play that extended hold, and for them not to waste enough time, for them to not get enough frags to keep them afloat, to keep them in the rest of the round. They lost their gunfights, and they lost that big firefight going on in cash, and you just lose the round from there. You're so right. 2v5 is not feasible to win out, and if it does, I mean, hey, it's great for clutch, right? But if it doesn't, you're not gonna expect, you know, anything else from the round. It's just simply, you know, you're just gonna say, boom, it's right. So, 2-3.
Another SSG basement strat?
It is.
Yeah, so we've seen this one before, and I mean, my memory is fuzzy because reasons.
Fuzzy memory, Hans.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, I mean, I'm gonna have Alzheimer's by the time I'm 30 or something. But for real, last time this defense was attempted, it didn't go too well for NTNS Gaming. They had to fall back pretty quickly. But did they actually end up winning or losing the round?
Did not win last round.
Okay, so last time they failed. Impact Gaming, in a sense, only have to recreate their past success to just get another point. Roberts trying hard to push in quickly, but he was maybe a bit premature. A drone would have been a really useful asset had he had one by the first time he tried to push in. That second drone isn't going to go too far. He even shoots it down for some reason. Exile with the sniper rifle, or well, the sniper operator with a pistol isn't able to get a kill. That is going to force the roaming guys to just funnel back into OBJ pretty quickly. So yeah, once again, the initial setup has been undone with minimal efforts for Impact Gaming. That does not mean they have control of OBJ. That does not mean they're just walling all over NTNS. But at the very least, Impact Gaming are making good time as of now.
I gotta wonder why nobody else is droning in Roberts, but it's gotta be himself. That man is on entry frag right now, and he's droning himself into blue. Why is Exile not on the drone? Why is there no support player on the drone? That's kind of the question of leadership right there, how you direct your team and how you direct your resources. And specifically, really the individual players, how they're going to direct the resources. But of course, the overarching theme is that. Now, again, how is this going to be dealt with? How is the blue hole going to be dealt with? And apparently it's going to be flash grenades.
Apparently,
because, yeah, because you have Malusi passively rotating back into the objective, and now blue is completely open. As well as that, they're going to try for dirt control, so you can definitely tell this is going to be an armory take from the side of kitchen hatch. They're going to try to attempt for the dirt tunnel. They're going to take control of the dirt tunnel, being that there's nobody sitting in there, and then they're going to take control of the kitchen hatch, make their execute in armory, having the pressure high on castle and the hatch open. And Castle's going to have to either stand his ground, get the frags, or he's going to be fragged out, and the execution is going to be successful. Now, NTNS finds themselves their first kill. That's going to be on Hibana. You do not want Hibana to be down, especially about 40 seconds left on the round. She still has her use, right? I use,
absolutely.
I use, man.
Oh, that was a wall bang!
Oh, no!
Nicely done. Nicely done. So 3v3 situation. Once again, I'm just amazed as to how many kills Exile is able to get considering his low firepower. 3v3 situation. Oh, the drone, the intel, but no direct hits. And of course, Angel's going to be firing back. He also does have an nitro cell, so he doesn't need to be that precise. He can actually lob it over that piece of cover, that piece of machinery there, and actually pushing in while Ash is reloading might be sound. But you have to time yourself perfectly to not push once she's done reloading. Roberts, 2 seconds on the clock, is going to be pushing it with a pistol, but that's a doomed endeavor as there was not enough time. Even if he did get the kill on Castle, the round was going to be lost. So NTNS Gaming winning it by the time.
Indeed, they are. So now we move on to a role swap for a 3-3 half. It's not necessarily something that NTNS wants to be at in terms of scoreline. They definitely do not want to have that point lost to Impact by the time they go on to their attack rounds, because Clubhouse is such a polarized map where you need to win out your defense rounds to have the mindset, to have the ability to even attack. But we're gonna have to see how this plays out. I could be speculating something completely different than what's actually gonna be happening. So really, I can't make any assumptions if I don't know how this T3 game is gonna go. It could be very different from what I'm saying now.
Yeah, I wouldn't make any assumptions either, because Impact Gaming, they just got rolled on in Kofidosevsky, so
they did.
Really, this goes to show.
They got steamrolled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
So showing that they can flip a switch and just invert the tendency, you know, or just beat the odds. Keeping it 3-3 when they were attacking, this is not looking really good for them. But at the same time, if Impact were able to do this, considering that NTNS had a very heavy advantage going into this map, asking the same feat, the same attacking 3-3 feat from NTNS, doesn't seem like a stretch either. So really, all of that, just to say in a roundabout way, anything is possible. Impact Gaming are in a really good spot, but I wouldn't count NTNS as being out of the game just yet.
I really wouldn't. Honestly, they've got one round under their belt in this series, which means that they could just as easily come back on their attack rounds. It just depends on how well that they're going to play cohesively as a team as we get into our round of CCTV cash.
Absolutely. Storm is already trying to breach this part of the wall. Oh, okay, so the top pallets are going to blow because they're out of range of the huge jammer, but the second part, the second duo, does not. So, this would require some kind of help to destroy the mute jammers. I guess Angel could destroy them, but he doesn't have that many lances. I don't know what the long form name of the gadget is, but I mean, you know, the sniper utility there. So it looks like it's gonna be a Zofia Impact. Hey, what, was that you? did you just hit a button or something?
I did not. Oh, I might have. You know what? I might have. Because I'm in your parsec, so I can control your.
Yeah,
keyboard.
yeah, that's exactly it. I was like not sure why she was, well, why that camera was moving like that. But hey, it was no angel. It was a use. At the end of the day, the jammer has been destroyed. Therefore, Storm's utility can detonate and can basically do its job, which is to open up a line of sight. Said line of sight is not going to be used. I mean, you can, for example, cut off, I guess, oil pits, but also more importantly, the main doorway over there. Not that any Impact Gaming player was going to use said rotation point. Well, maybe Roberts, but that's just besides the point, as Storm isn't even watching on the angle. The one thing that's unfortunate, though, is just the amount of pellets stuck right there. I mean, that's a 612 of them, and the mute jammer still being up. Basically, that's a lot of utility lost for Storm, so he's going to hope to make them count. And look at this, like 3 players were sticking their nose into that doorway. It's an extremely risky and dangerous way to play, but I guess Linux does not want to play ball. He's not going to be attempting to challenge that, and I guess that's a choice he's deliberately making, but at the same time, he's not defending or protecting the mute jammer, so Storm could maybe blow them open and eventually make something work. But for the time being, focusing that much energy, resources, utility, gun, manpower to that one secondary, arguably, doorway is not going to bode too well for you. As we can see right here, a 2v5 situation. Yeah, as far as their first defensive run is concerned, Impact Gaming are looking really, really strong.
They are, and I don't know. There's a lot to analyze with this round. I'm gonna get into that in a second, but let's look at the rest of this 15 seconds, right? You don't really have too much substance to look at this point. You got Angel on the rappel, Storm from below. Yeah, they're just waiting out their tactical timeout at this point. So let's get straight into the... Oh, no. He gets a kill, but he doesn't get the next. But no, let's get straight into the analysis. So one thing I did not like was the very stalled and hesitant attack from from NTNS. I keep on messing up. I'm gonna keep stuttering on their name. NTNS. Oh my gosh. But
worst case scenario, just say blue team.
Yeah, blue team. I'm just gonna say blue team. The attacking team, whatever.
There you go.
But yeah, NTNS. I do not like how hesitant they were on their attack. They did not even get into the building. Do you want to know that, Hans? Fun fact, they did not get into the building whatsoever. I don't know if they didn't attempt to get into the building. I don't know if they didn't even make an execute on any part of the building. I know that their attempt, you can tell what they were going for, right? Their attempt was garage to take rafters, and their attempt was to open up the wall and take cache. And to take servers, right? They want to make the execute on the server. They want to be able to take control of garage to prevent any of the rotations. That was their idea. They did not do that. They did not get their frags. They did not even make a single move into the building. And once Impact caught on to that, look what they did. They tightened their grip. They started swinging things. They got more aggressive. And they won out their gunfights because what are they? They were more mechanically gifted in that situation because NTNS was extremely behind on their pacing. And so Impact took control of the pacing and they won out the round. Hoorah! There's not really too much else to look into that, but that's a note. That's going to be a theme to look at for the rest of their attacking rounds, is that their attacks are extremely stalled when they come into any type of confusion, any type of hesitation, or when they're lackluster on any resources. They just stop. And you cannot do that on this map, especially attacking on any map. Clubhouse specifically, you need to be aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really long-winded and extremely precise explanation of how and why things just fell apart for NTNS Gaming. So looking at round number, 8, I was going to say round number 2 as far as the second half of the game is concerned, NTNS Gaming's composition felt kind of odd to me because they didn't seem to have a dedicated entry fragger, right? Anybody could be considered utility, like Storm, Sledge, is more soft breach than entry frag. Zofia, more than anything else, is going to be your frag heavy operator. But I mean, maybe I'm just focusing on the sole fact that there's no Ashe at play, but I still find it slightly odd to have no Ashe at play. It feels foreign to me, you know? But at the very least, top floor insertion, a few drones on the first floor as well. No rumors are going to be detected, and as such, Kunai and I'm gonna guess Storm is going to follow suit. They're gonna be starting a soft breach phase here, trying to put as much pressure on OBG as possible without, exposing themselves or without risking themselves as little as possible. That's going to be used. A lot of things are happening right now. That's changing the tactical situation a heck of a lot. Our impact nade tricking is going to be another failure. Linux preparing a nitro cell that is also failing. A lot of utility being used up and ultimately not reaping any kind of advantage in return. Yeah, considering that no kill has happened yet, Impact Gaming are expending their resources pretty quickly. That could nib them in the bud later on.
Right. Okay. Let's get back into this game because I was completely off guard.
A few things have happened. Yeah.
Yeah, a few things are happening. So it's Demolition Derby for NTNS right now. They're sitting in kitchen. They got a lot of sledge happenings going on, right? They're trying to pin down the Valkyrie that's running around wasting their time. And that's something that you don't necessarily have time to do, so you don't really want to focus on it as much. Just drop it and kill them. Take control of dirt, put pressure on the Valkyrie, maybe even swing her, and you get the kill. You don't necessarily need to kill her from above because she's just going to run around. However, I stayed productive, right? Linux is going to get killed, so that's their kill, that's their frag, that's their way that they want to manage their time. It'll work for them anyways. But 3v3, Svetix finds one in the loop tunnel. He's going to take control of it, and Pinos finally finds his way into the objective. 1v3 already as Storm. Oh no. They get bested in their execute from the crossfires, from the flanks, whatever you want to call it. It was a frag fest, and by the end, you could tell the defense. They were very victorious on that one. So round 9, round 8 goes to Impact Gaming now. Round 9, going to be our next round.
That felt chaotic, didn't it?
It was. It was extremely chaotic by the end. Very.
But also just at the beginning, just not exactly chaos as in we don't know what's happening and just every man for himself. They were still coordinated teams. But chaotic in the sense that the attackers did establish map control pretty quickly. What then is happening? Well, then a few hard breaching charges, Sledge doing a number on the floor, Hibana breaching the hatch, impact nades being tossed to deny that. They failed, the hatch opens, a few, one nitro cell then gets tossed through the open hatch. This one also does fail. So, not talking about gunfights, not talking about kills, not talking about deaths, but like just stuff happening. They did not hesitate, and them not hesitating did create this active situation that at the end of the round just end up being really, really, I want to say, full of promises to have a great many deal of kills at the end of the round. I'm looking for an expression that I'm thinking of in French, can't find the English translation, but it was really, really a good situation to have if you wanted to see many kills, and just them being from a few different angles at once, right? The hatch, dirt tunnel, blue, all that good stuff did give it the sense of the situation being chaotic, but it was controlled chaos, right? It was not out of control.
Oh, I like your analysis on that, Hans. I was listening to probably half of it. I had a tiny conversation with my mummy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was very chaotic, and it was controlled chaos for the first bit of it, and then the second bit of it just completely fell apart because their execute was ill-informed, it was not timed very well, and there was not a lot of support, not a lot of intel going on it. That's just the gist of it, right? But now, it's a new round, it's a new objective, it's a new time for NTNS to show up in our 3-5 scoreline.
Oh, he could get ahead there. He could just get a nasty headshot because
he could get a
Angel
headshot.
is
Why is he
droning.
sitting there? Oh no, why is he sitting there?
And Angel does know that because, of course, he's getting, audio from his drone, and therefore, if his main body is getting shot at, he's not going to hear about that until he's dead. That is. But right there, Angel is going to be eating a few bullets worth of damage with his own body. Unfortunately, the shield is not, or is ill-placed to deny those, but he is actually going to get a nasty kill on Linux. Pinos also, well, being injured a slight bit, trying to get the vengeance. They're trying to at least make them pay, but that does not work out either. He's not going to be successful in connecting on either of his two potential targets on that balcony over there. So really, it seems like we're going to be at a bit of a stalemate. The attackers are going to be relocating because for the time being, Angel getting the 1 kill, that really does liberate a part of the map, right? You know, of course, Bandit here. Technically, Lycos could or run in through the opening, presumably go into the bathroom, and that could establish interesting cross angles to cover a plant. Basically, if he could be where Exile is right now, there would be no way to deny the plant for the defenders. But Exile is still there. He gets a kill, gets refragged immediately after. At the end of the day, Blackbeard, a pesky Blackbeard, is now out of play. Lycos, yeah, he was gonna want to try to plant, but that is not a given considering the current state of things. He's gonna have to plant behind the bench press over there. Oh no, he's planting in the open. That could be dangerous. Roberts or Pinos could deny that. Pinos gonna try, and he gets the kill just before that got planted. 2v3 situation. The defenders now definitely have the upper hand.
They do indeed. You got about 30 seconds. You're right, Hans. They don't have a lot to work with right now. You still only got 1 player up on the board. You got 1 down, and the diffuser is not in hand of Storm. So he's going to have to find these frags all on his own. He knows where one is. That's going to be Frost coming from the construction area. He finds her, gets the down, but will he get the other players? You know that Roberts knows your location. We're going to guess that Fentix does as well. He's going to try to put down the plant, but the guess is that Roberts will find the frag, and it's not Roberts, it's actually Fentix on the Maestro cam. However, I did not necessarily like how stalled out that was. And once again, they did not act off of intel, they acted off of aggression. There wasn't anything behind their push. It was a lot of cross angles being held from the defense, and once a single cross angle got shut down, it was all chaos, all hell broke loose, right? You had NTNS filing into the objective. They got in there and they were confused when they saw nobody sitting in the objective. Well, it could have taken a simple drone to understand that objective is free. Just get in there, plant, you know, hold off the cross angles, get the drones in construction, understand that there's somebody sitting there, that there's somebody sitting below, and you could have made quick work of them. I do not like how integral Frost and Jaeger were when they sat in construction. They weren't even on the site. They just sat in construction and held angles. You know how easy it is to plant when there's no defenders on the objective? And they still got away with it. That's what I hate. The defenders still got away with it, even though there were not 1, but 2 plant attempts made.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was the typical extended hold into cash stash or cash room, as it's been renamed many seasons ago at this point. Yeah, don't blow that nitro cell up, Valkyrie. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. Them attempting an extended hold is the general reason as to why they were there at the beginning of the round, but that in no way excuses them still being there later on, considering how events actually ended up unfolding. Plus, I mean, now Impact Gaming do have 6 points, so assuming they win this round, which is, you know, not a given by any stretch of the imagination, but assuming they were to win this 7-3, they would be inflicting almost as severe a loss to NTNS than they received on the first map. So that would be almost, I want to say, poetic in a sense. But that yet has to happen, and of course NTNS Gaming will do their darn best to deny that situation to come to pass. So Kali can destroy 1 bandit battery, then I would assume that Lycos would then be absolutely ready to open up the reinforced wall. But of course, Bandit is going to stay there, ready to react if need be. But really, Cade being absent, Cade being banned, because of course Cade is banned, it's really interesting to see how bandit tricksing is evolving. So Kali seems to become a staple of this map. Is it because it's their typical operator? Is it in their habits? Or is it truly that Kali becomes a crutch operator, considering which other operators have been banned before her? That is not going to work out. But Pinos could maybe still have stuck to it. After all, those Selma charges do very, very little damage. And, you know, making the hole small enough that, you know, NTNS cannot actually vault through it would have had its worth. So, yeah, just questioning Pinos' prioritization there. But at the end of the day, it's him playing, not me. Him making the decisions, not me. And it looks like, surprisingly enough, NTNS are going to be following through construction, surprisingly enough. So basically, construction, master's bedroom, that did flush out a roamer. I want to say Roberts was over there. He now had to bail. And that's an odd plan B, because it is plan B, right? They wanted to open up the half roof wall. That failed. So now they have to try basically something else. And that something else is an attempt that you don't see too often because considering that all 5 attackers are still up, a full frontal assault from construction is rare.
It is. I just see the heart rate I used to find one, and oh no, Exile goes down. It was almost Fentix. Man, almost died on that. However, yeah, you're gonna be seeing a split push, which is definitely good for NTNS to be pulling out because they can find a lot of good cross angles on this, and execution already underway, right? You got a 5v3 situation. You think that you can take them, and if you can, that'll be great for your round count. It puts us up to a 4-6. If you can't, you lose out the round, that's match point. Down. Now it's Ayuz. Gets the double kill. He gets refragged out, but he knows we're gonna have to be on even more frags than that if he wants to win us out, right? It's Onyx and Pinos. Still got the Echo Drone up on the board though, so that's huge for entry. Actually, the plant denial, as a matter of fact, not entry denial, but entry denial if you have it, but 2 seconds left on the clock, right? You might be able to get the plant down, you might not, but you will indeed, because Echo is going to play a bit of a more active role in the round. He's going to have to frag out. Pinos, however, he's going to either move towards red or move towards Raptors. It's going to be red, though, is what he chooses.
Defenders have located the
Question is, will he be able to get the frags? You got one swinging on him, and he loses it out. Pinos falls short. NTNS wins it.
So there you have it. NTNS not losing 7-3, keeping the hope, keeping the dream alive, and at the very, very least, I mean, they're still facing an uphill battle, right? Plus, they're attacking. Let's not forget that. But the more wins the more rounds they win, the least imposing of a defeat they are likely to get. Because at this point, I would still say that the Ties of War is favoring Impact Gaming. And really, considering in a sense that this map is more or less lost, once again, I don't want to be a pessimist, but considering that this map is looking really bad for them, not losing too bad will be good for their morale going into the third map. So at this point, this is what I'm thinking about. Of course, NTNS Gaming are clinging onto hope. They will not keel over and just die, but their odds of winning are somewhat slight. Well, I cannot say anything without going at it in a roundabout way, can I?
No, I can't either. It's okay, Hans. We suck. It's alright.
That's alright, that's alright.
It's alright. So there's gonna be the SSG roam. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be playing Pulse instead. I have to wonder where he's gonna be sitting though, because there's a gambit of places where Pulse can be placed, and he's still going to make an effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, effective. He's gonna still be effective in the round.
I would bet he's just going to be staying in Arsenal because he can use his utility to know where somebody is above him, and then I mean, for example, sticking a nitro cell under Hibana's feet, that would be a huge kill, and he wouldn't have to just bet like, for example, Valkyrie does, you know, when they try to deny a hatch plant. That opening also is extremely clever. Because it's right by the doorway, so if somebody wants to come in through that freezer area, well then he would be able to shoot them from underneath with extreme accuracy, because of course he would have line of sight, which is something you usually don't have. But with that being said, he's just preparing a hypothetical entry point into the building. Pinos seems to be a bit more hands-on, as Ayuz is likely to push in extremely quickly. Stone's drone saw him. He's screwed. He's screwed. I mean,
he's getting droned in. Oh no. This is a loss for him. Oh no, it's Kunai to go down instead. Lesion on the gunner, but Ayuz shoots him from behind, and that's a 4v4 situation, but a lot of time lost for NTNS Gaming, which isn't very good, to be completely honest.
Arguably, I mean, already a minute has been played on the clock, and that was how many? 3 attackers, 1 dying in the process, by the way. 3 attackers flushing out a single roamer, and you have 2 other isolated cases. So having that 3-man encirclement setup happen time and time again would be extremely time consuming. So in a sense, luckily for NTNS Gaming, Roberts is not going to be insisting too much, thus falling back onto OBJ pretty quickly, and Exile, well, is the last man roaming alive, but I'm not sure if he's been spotted out at all. Ayuz seems to be making a round, but that, as far as I can tell, is just out of habit and just to be sure, more than because he actively expects Exile to be here.
Right, but his assumption would be correct in the fact that I use is waiting for Exile to rotate definitely says something. It says something about his predictability. It says something about whether he's going to expect someone to be there and be right in that. You got one though. Oh no, it's Exile to pick up IUs. That man was beheaded. And there you go, 3v3 situation already. It's Exile still up on the board for the roam though, so he could be huge by the end of our round if he makes a good flank. That's all it takes for him to win out the round, making that good flank. Because we know that NTNS isn't necessarily the best when it comes to flank watch, and especially because they do not have a Nomad on the board, or relatively anybody to be their flank watch operator on the board. They're going to be at a deficit going into this flank.
Especially considering that Exile was still unchecked, but he did elect to get back on OBJ. Having him as, you know, an unknown quantity could have been huge. Now he has a few drones, that's also denying intel to his opponents. But Likos gets a nice kill, and now Diffuser is going to get planted. Fantix will try to deny that with the Evil Eye. Is he going to get it? Actually, I do not know. Exile getting a nice kill with a gun, but no, the Evil Eye overheated. Now a 1v2 situation. Of course, the camera, though not being used, is going to be feeding a lot of intel. Oh. Wait, he is going to try and hunt down because it works. It works. Cyber bullying gone wrong. But yeah, Storm having hatch control, that's going to be an uphill battle for Fantix. He might want to try to run up the stairs, but he's a heavy operator, and that is going to be an uphill battle. Definitely, I don't see an easy way out of this for him.
Most definitely not, right? And he's going to throw a frag grenade on it. He's going to have to jump out. It's just a time-wasting situation at this point, right?
Yeah,
Storm
absolutely.
knows that he can play around his utility, and the fact that he understands that already says a lot, right? You got 4 seconds left on the clock. The defuse is not going to be possible. Yeah, it's impossible, right? But it was a try on the part of Maestro, right? He downed and killed a man, Pog, by the way, downed and killed a man with his oh my god, with this meatball. Already, oh my gosh, that was Pog, Jesus. But that was a very defaulty round. I'm just gonna say that it was a very default kitchen execute. You had a player sitting in dirt, you had somebody on the kitchen hatch, and the reason that it worked out was because they made the defense so uncomfortable. They forced them to rotate into their hands. They found their frags. They used their maneuverability and their strategy to their advantage, and they allowed for the defense to, you know, play whatever games that they wanted. It's just that, you know, they ended up being better. They ended up being better and finding their kills towards the end.
So, yeah, that NTNS comeback looks ever more likely. NTNS, they were down like, what, 3 points? It was 3-6. Now they won 2 points back to back, and right now in the current situation, both teams in their own way are backs against the wall. It's really easy to illustrate for NTNS Gaming. If they lose the round, well, they lost the map. But Impact Gaming also have ample of incentive to put an end to the game right here and there, because if they don't, if they were to lose that very round, well, then overtime situation would be an overtime would be a go, to put it that way. And if that was to happen, well, then NTNS could no longer just put a quick end to the round. They would have to go through the whole process of overtime, and they would have to win 2 rounds in that situation before, or to get access to a map victory. So yeah, that is basically the current standings. Looking at the situation, NTNS Gaming were definitely scarred by the roam game last time around, so they're going to be making an absolute top floor sweep. As you can see, a lot of resources, a lot of players, a lot of utility drones more than anything will be poured into the top floor, but pretty quickly we're going to be realizing that no defenders are going to be roaming and just, you know, wasting attackers' time up there, so no need to waste attackers' time by chasing ghosts. Roberts, sorry, is going to be in blue, but that hatch has been blown right open, though Angel is not going to be using the angle to try to get a kill out of it. It's always a risk, isn't it, right? So, yeah, moving over to hatch number 2, that one's also going to blow. I mean, there's no way of bandit tricksing or trying to deny it. And, oh yeah, baiting the nitro cell, that's always important. Angel is just going to move to yet another hatch. But this time around, Fantix is likely to try some impact tricksing trickery. He gets 2, but not the 2 others. And at this point, hard breaching seems to be very, very likely. However, Angel is going to eat up a nasty nitro cell, thus putting an end to his hard breaching dreams. Lycos is there to pick up the slack, and he is not going to die to an impact nade. Lucky him. So that is the end of that one kitchen hatch, but not the end of the whole story, as now attackers, namely Storm, I guess, are going to have to use the opening to actually get a kill or two and then push in. I just want to point out there are one or maybe even, oh, nice kill Pinos. There was only one player in the escape tunnel, in dirt tunnel. So had Storm still been looking at the hatch, looking at dirt tunnel from above, he could have cut off that rotation. But instead, he just goes down there and gets killed just like his teammate before him. That is going to be Likos, who actually learns from two of his teammates' mistakes, but at this point, I dare say it's too late. A 1v4 situation is almost unwinnable, so they're gonna have to try their damn best to pull this off. 33 seconds on the clock, Gumine in the foot, being pushed from, well, as two angles is as much as it's gonna get right now, but it's pretty bad, admittedly. The Gumine's impact, or the Gumine's damage, is just piling up, and he's just not caring about that, surprisingly enough. Like, how many hit points did he lose due to that Gumine alone? Plus, I believe you're back, so you want to pick it off as soon as Impact wins the map?
Indeed. They won the map. They outplayed them. That was a wonderful game for Impact.
Absolutely.
Especially towards the end, that last round was pretty good. I really liked the last round. They found a way to adapt around what NTNS was giving them. What I mean by this is you see the very default push from dirt, you see the default execute from kitchen hatch. They wasted time for NTNS in order to tighten their grip on them so they can find the frags. You down the Angel, you down, I believe it was Kunai or Ayuz. At least one of them, right? That's your main fraggers, at least off the board. And for that to happen, and then for a dirt tunnel push to be thwarted, it's all off the table for them at that point. It's all on improvision, and they could not pull it off. That's just the simplicity of it.
Yep, absolutely. So here, I'm going to put you on the spot. I did see your message regarding the fact that you may have to go. You know, if Impact wins the game, there's going to be a third map and you may not be free to cast a third map. Will you stay, or do you really have to call it a night?
I do have to call it a night, Hans. I have not taken a shower. I haven't even eaten tonight.
What? Okay,
yes,
yeah, go grab dinner. Go grab dinner.
I need to go. I've not tended. I've been on a baking spree. I've not done anything tonight. I just wanted to use this as practice, to be honest with you. And it was pretty fun. I really liked it. Yeah,
I did also really like it. Players are asking for a 2 or 3 minutes break, so I guess this could be like a nice opportunity for you to just take off graciously. So do you want to like introduce yourself once more, like pimp out your socials or anything? Because you just gave me like 2 hours of your time, so that's the least I can do for you.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably put my Twitter in the chat or something like that. Or
absolutely.
if you wanted to, it doesn't matter. But yeah, my name is Jen. I've been casting with Hans for around, I believe, over a year at this point, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
But
over
no,
a year,
it wasn't the fall of last year for Mishmash.
It was
Their console, their Xbox. It was the kickoff of their like season 2 on Xbox.
Yes, I think so. Well, anyways, we've been casting with each other for a pretty long time, so we're definitely comfortable with each other. But this match was interesting, to say the least. It was different than what I'm used to. I'm used to understanding how teams play and applying that. This match was more of like improv for me. I had to try to understand what these teams were doing without having any extra information on them, which is what I'm used to being in a league like SCS. And so it was pretty nice practice. I really liked it, Hans, and I'm excited to come back for our final by the end.
Yeah, so am I. I really hope you're going to be there in the finals because, for example, I've been reading chat a heck of a lot because we've had a few issues with respect on the chat. And I did try to have a moderator here tonight, which luckily we do have one. But still, I'm keeping a bit of a close eye on chat for those, reasons and past experience, which kind of scarred me. So I didn't feel as concentrated on the stream or in the game itself as I would usually have been. And therefore, having you aboard was a huge, huge help for me. and definitely I hope to see you again because, of course, you're really helpful. So that's kind of the selfish reason. And the honest reason is also I really do enjoy your company. So, yeah, there's that.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess I'll be seeing you later. Well, not later tonight, but like later in the bracket. As
Indeed.
yeah, there's like tonight and 2 more matches. The winner is going to be playing against Mishmash Gaming, disputing the 3rd place. And the winner of that next match is going to be playing against OnlyFans in the grand final. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have this tonight's match to finish up first. So with that being said, hey, thank you for having been here. Have an amazing rest of the night, and we'll catch you in the next game.
You as well, Hans.
All right, see you.
See ya.
And yeah, there is Giraffe posting her Twitter. It might be a bit early in chat, so you may be out of context when you saw this, but now, aka like 3 minutes later, you are going to realize as to why Giraffe posted her Twitter. With that being said, the players asked for like a 2 minutes break, so they should be ready soon. There we go. How desperate for a caster? Pharmacy. Hey, hop on in, call me, hit me up. Hit me up right about now. So that's Pinos. Pinos is playing for Impact Esports. So yeah, Impact are definitely ready, as 3 players did just tell me that they're ready. So NTNS, it's up to you now. And yep, that water does taste good because, wow, casting 2 maps does make does make a number on your voice. Yeah, actually, let's not wait the 3 minutes. Let's DM you. And yeah, I hope to see him. I gotta say, Pharmacy, we have not casted together too often, so our synergy dynamic is not yet there 100% because we're not too familiar with each other, you know, intonation, tone of voice to know when I'm done talking about something that, like, for example, you or the co-caster as a general concept can take the mic. But of course, only if you have a real caster. No. Oh, and it looks like NTNS are ready as well, so that would be perfect. All right, so guys, good luck, have fun, and may the best team win. Oregon Impact Esport attacking first. There we go, and that is Pharmacy. How are you doing tonight?
What's good? I'm chilling, man. You know the vibes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever like seen you worked up or, you know, in a heightened emotional setting, if I can just put it that way.
Nah, the vibes are always chill. The vibes are always up and positive.
As they should be. So, Thatcher being banned first. I just did enable a Discord screen share. You are more than welcome to log in through Parsec if you also want to have a better quality, lower latency, and audio.
If I do what?
If you want to have a better viewing experience than through a Discord screen share, you would be more than welcome to log in on Parsec if you're familiar with that.
I have no. I think I'm just gonna stick with Discord. I have no clue what that is.
Okay, well, okay. In a 1-sentence soundbite, almost like commercial kind of presentation, it's a remote control software for gamers, so it's not like TeamViewer or anything. So delay is actually really, really low, and the viewing quality is also pretty good. If you don't enable remote control, well, then it's just a screen sharing software, which is going to be, you know, technologically superior to a Discord screen share, basically.
Oh, okay. I'll look into it, but I'll just stick to Discord for now.
That sounds perfect. So, those were our operator bans. We went through them pretty quickly. Thatcher is going to be a staple as he ever is. Looks like Echo was a pain in the bud, so NTNS did decide to ban him outright this time around. Other than that, Mira also has never been played tonight for obvious reasons, but Jackal is this time going to also be vetoed out of the match, and it is a first, as Kali was banned on the first map, and in the second one it was Maverick. But realistically, that Spanish operator was rarely used tonight, so it's more of a generic ban than a targeted, I mean, decision.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think that this is about to be a good matchup. I feel like both of these teams have good strats on these maps, so we're about to find out who can come up on top.
Yeah, I mean, after all, this is map number 3, so definitely both teams are pretty well balanced. We wouldn't be in that situation if it wasn't the case.
Very true.
But that to me, it seems like I'm just stating the obvious. I just want to say I dislike this this Banshee placement because an attacker walking up this tunnel, of course, there's no line of sight if you're, you know, rubbing shoulders on the wall. So the Banshee wouldn't activate until he peeks the corner, and then he could just directly knife it. Just planting it on the floor in the middle of that hallway would be a better placement, in my opinion. Except if he's trying to like deny the staircase, that would be another thing. But he could still put it on the blue tarp and have kind of this double effect on the Banshee. Just my 2 cents, my personal criticism.
Well,
But with that being said, yeah, go ahead.
so to be fair, Hans, since he opened up the left side of that wall, he's gonna be playing only on the right side of the pillar. Since he's gonna be playing on the right side, he's not gonna be peeking the left side, so he can't really watch that hallway or the staircase. So by putting it there, if someone is to walk in the hallway, he can swing around the left side of the hallway. Sorry, the left side of the pillar, without like with knowing kind of where he is and whatnot.
Absolutely right. Plus, there's going to be kill number 1 of map number 3. So Impact Esports taking first blood. I was going to say plus there's absolutely no blue push from Impact Esports. They're walking in from basically the polar opposite end of the map. Robert's coming in through small tower, but he was not exactly a lone wolf, but not representative of the rest of his team either. Kunai right here looking for a refrag, but he's just hesitating a little bit too much as cross angles were established. He's now dead, and it looks like Likos, or whose silhouette was that? Storm is just fleeing for his life. And he's going to have a hard time holding onto Freezer as well. The hatch is already blown. And I would assume by the defenders, because they would have been pretty quick for a hard breach sequence to have taken place.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple of people down already, so they have the man advantage up. If they just keep playing it safe, keep getting information, that's really how they're going to win the round. As long as they don't just run in like headless chickens right now, this is a free round for Impact Esports.
Yeah, indeed. Like Storm right there is going to try to deny that, but he's just going to be outmatched. To be honest, he is in a really, really good choke pointy situation, but there might be 1 or 2 silhouettes in the stairs. Over there, he gets 1 kill. The thing is, Freezer is going to be his Achilles heel, as he would be exposed to Freezer by sticking behind that pillar over there. Storm also gets a nice kill. Smoke gets put down to the 3 situations. Surprisingly enough, NTNS are keeping the score somewhat tied. But the final and be-all end-all push has yet to happen, coming from Impact Esports, and Likos can be a really good planting operator. Smoke is dead, but Maestro really is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. So that one defender, the Storm really made a nice play on getting those 2 picks, and then luckily enough he was able to rotate out. And now it's balanced out. 30 seconds down the line, so it's definitely a hard situation with 1 person left, but he can pull through if he gets the diffuser down.
He tried. He tried his best. He tried his damn best, but yeah, that was the thing, right? The early picks were just too much. To be honest, NTNS never really did recover from those. And
yeah.
The beginning of the round really was just an indicator of what was to come.
Yeah, I mean, if we analyze that round, you know, they did a pretty decent roam clear. The roamer made the mistake of not really playing kind of more of like a passive roam, maybe hiding on the 3rd floor or something like that. He played a bit more aggressive by playing on the actual 1st floor as a roamer. Thus, they were able to find him. Once they were able to kill that 1 roamer and then take Freezer control, and they kind of did a split push in the back. And by doing that split push, they were able to cut off the pillar rotate and then get Freezer and rotate around the main and get the plan off. So good play on the attack that round.
And so that seems to be the first time these 2 teams play against each other in that map. Well, this is the beginning of the map after all. And what I'm trying to say here is this is a tone setter. Impact Esports winning the first round with, I don't want to say relative ease, but it was still a 3v1 situation, you know? So basically NTNS just got the message, status quo ain't gonna cut it. I'm really curious to see what they're going to update, what they're going to change up, because if they do the same thing as last time, they are basically pretty likely to lose another round. And, you know, you don't want to be setting precedents for that kind of, round lost, going for the sequence. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to be having a few less roamers. But with that being said, yeah, they're still setting up a somewhat heavy roam presence. Just like no Mozi, so that's one less. But still, they're going to be there.
Yeah, they're opening up a bunch of more rotates, so they're really playing this roam like really to really waste the attacker's time, and they're really playing their life up here. Like they're not gonna leave. They're really gonna stay up there until they either make it or die.
Yeah, absolutely. Ayu's already being droned out, but I think this time he's going to be more proactive about it, right? He did just stick to kitchen last time around and waited for Impact to come and get him. This time he did get drowned, but he wants to invalidate the intel that they have on him by moving out of the way, and he could either do that or actively push up on Impact Esports. But as a defender, he is unlikely to do that. Actually, he didn't do that. He could still change his mind, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I like how Aes is playing upstairs this time. He's gonna play a little bit more of a passive roam, and then hopefully he can go for a late flank or something like that.
Oh, that soft lock control is worrying me. So Linux is going to breach the hatch. Of course, that was the end of Kunai, unsurprisingly. But Ayuz is, generally speaking, close to Hibana, close to the hatch that's just been breached. He didn't want to push in like a headless chicken. I get that. But at the same time, he now knows exactly where an attacker is, right? Linux is, once again, still by the hatch, hasn't moved. He's actually on the drone, so he's quite vulnerable. Had Ayuz been able to evade the drone, but that didn't end up happening. And right there, fleeing just because the drone saw you also isn't always the right choice to make. As we could see right there, Roberts just cut him off, and that was the end of him. So far, roam clear being really successful. 3v5 situation, and now Impact Esports starting to turn their attention towards the basement area it feels very reminiscent of the previous round. So should things go the same way, I don't see why Impact Esports would lose this round either.
Yeah, so what's going on defense here is that NTNS doesn't have any map domination. So what I mean by that is that, sure, they have map control, but it's all individuals. Like, let's say that third floor was only one person getting sandwiched by two people. So they don't really have that power to get refrags right now, which is what's really bringing them to their demise.
Absolutely, and there you have it. That's yet another individual pick, and those individual kills just do stack up, don't they? Pino's getting a double. That grenade is going to be dangerous, and he's just stuck in a corner. He couldn't do anything about that. Even though the grenade wasn't particularly cooked, he could have tried to evade it. Well, it was somewhat cooked, but still, there was no way he was going to survive to that. And there you go, Fentix, nicely done. 2-0 for Impact Gaming. Or Impact Esports, sorry. It's NTNS Gaming and Impact Esports. But did you see map number 1? Impact lost 7-2, and it wasn't Kofei Dostoyevsky. The two only rounds that they did end up winning were their defenses on bar. So basically, the easiest setup that you could have were the only thing that they were able to win. AKA, the evening started up looking pretty bleak for Orange Team here, and they did manage to bring this to 180, to flip this upside down, which is nice to see for them, but also somewhat disheartening to see how seemingly easy it was for NTNS Gaming to just steamroll over Impact, and that ease is just gone somehow.
Yeah, well, it could be that Impact weren't necessarily warmed up on the first map, and then now they're really getting their ability to clear like map control and whatnot back. So that's definitely what seems to be going on.
And therefore, even though they lost, NTNS could have gone basement again. They elected not to do so, and this time there's going to be a bunks and what's the other room called? Technically, bunks and dorms, right? So really changing pace, because that was not a winning formula that they had. So let's see how it goes. But I'm going to stay pessimistic here a little bit, because even if NTNS were to win that round, they're just going to go back into the basement again. So long term, they really do need to find a solution to that. So, with that being said, looking at the initial situation, the initial setup, like Fentix seems to be the only one actively going to work on Big Tower. So Big Tower, which is usually the first thing that's on the attacking team's mind, almost seems like an afterthought here. And by extension, my question basically is, where are Impact Esports going to be attacking from if it's not from Big Tower? And apparently it's going to be Small Tower. So let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to go for a quick little roam clear right now because if they get bottom control on this map and force it, because upstairs site is very small, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
could be, it could get claustrophobic up there. If they can clear the roamers beneath and just keep the last defenders upstairs, then they can really corner them and really work them out individually once they're just kind of stuck in the site upstairs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That would be a dream situation for Impact Esports. Once again, going to big tower, that would be like one way to flank them and to pinch them, basically establish cross angles to deny any kind of rotation. Then you just toss them in and they're done. Once again, my mind may just be sticking to the one fact that I don't comprehend, and that might just be me. I don't want to say being like single-minded, but you know what I'm saying. And somehow there you go, hard breaching phase is barely beginning. But it almost looks like Storm's going to be jumping on those wooden pellets. Tried to establish a line of sight from that, opening that Maverick made. He's not going to be forcing the issue, though. Roberts mid-rotation gets cut down, and that is Jaeger still roaming. He had not been spotted out before, and now he is basically an ace in the wild. He could just run back up behind those attackers. Like, Pino seems to know. He just got the memo. Hey, there's a roam on the loose. Let's watch out. And that is just diverting resources, right? Fentix may be pushing forward, but Pinos is not there with him to help him with a push. And of course, the ADS is just going to be eating up those grenades.
So I think we have to notice that Linux is across the map with Diffuser alone. That could be an issue for the attackers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't notice that. This is why you're a champion player and I'm not. Absolutely. There's line of sight, but that's not enough, right? If he dies, it's going to be really hard for him to recover that. That was a smoke canister, so that's denying kind of access to the OBJ. Has this part of the wall been hard breached? It has, but Storm is also looking there that way. So realistically, Linux has very little opportunities to funnel in. He's going to try to plant, but Storm's right there. As soon as the smoke dissipates, he's dead. Actually, he's dead right about now, and that was a major oversight. 10 seconds to pick to patch those mistakes, but yeah, that did not happen.
Yeah, right there, the split was a little bit too large, so they chose to do a little bit too much. You can either do beneath and then attic, you can do beneath and big window, you can do beneath and bedroom, but you can't do attic, beneath, and dorms at the same time. That's just kind of a lot of maintenance to deal with, and you want to keep maintenance down to as low as possible.
Absolutely. And therefore, that was the first defense that NTNS won, and in a brilliant way, actually. Like, they were pretty nifty and resourceful. For example, Storm just didn't get, and that's trigger control for you, right? It would have been really tempting if I was in his shoes to just flank through the opening that Ace made for himself, right? Since he was still looking at the trophy's doorway. So his flank would have been open. And not pushing there, that's just, game sense. Not going for the easier kill, thinking about the long game. Is something I do want to personally commend the players for. But I'm just going to come back to what I said like 5 minutes ago. They went upstairs, but now it's back to the basement. What are they going to do this time? Because at this point, they have to break the precedent. It's expected, basing this off of historical data, it's expected that they're going to lose, and they, of course, want to deny that situation to come to pass for yet a third time in a row. So what is going to differ between either their setup or their actual execution? Because it looks like there's going to be some kind of top floor presence again. That barbed wire. Maybe not after all. They're just reinforcing hatches. Ayuz may want to stick around, or maybe he's just going to run down the stairs at a later time. So yeah, how optimistic are you regarding NTNS's odds here?
Well, for this round, they can fix their issues that they had in the previous rounds by a couple of methods. The first one would be just purely winning their gunfights, and that's not something you can really guess if they're going to win it or not. But it seems like they already started off by kind of roaming a little bit less, kind of playing more on the objective, which for this bomb site is definitely doable. You definitely don't have to have that big of a presence upstairs to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, to use the term that I really did like when you said it before, the bottom basement isn't as claustrophobic as the top one is. It's way larger, and he was walking back. That is likely going to save his life. And there you have it. It is officially going to be a full turtle strat, as all 5 of the defenders are just around bomb sites, thus leaving basically map control to the attackers. Let's see how they go at it, establishing it or keeping it, though, because it would not be too surprising to see, for example, Kunai be tempted to rush back up, or to sneak back up, should I say, the main stairs, as they are rarely used to rarely used by the attackers to execute a push, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that's going to be hard breaching beginning. Hibana opening up the one hatch. Roberts coming down the back stairs. But that angle is going to be the most predictable out of all of them. But oh, the hatch was unchecked. Pino's getting 1 kill. That is also basically freeing up space for the backstage or backstairs. So Roberts is going to be doing his best. And that was, I want to say, a Vulcan shield. Yes, a lot of fire is going to push Kunai back. There would be an opening, and I don't know if Roberts realizes that, because he's not pushing forward as fast as he could be. But Fentix did just drop hatch. Or no, he came in through blue bunker. Asillet did drop hatch, though. I'm not sure who that was. Maybe Hibana herself. And now destroying that hard wall will put Kunai in an extremely precarious situation, especially considering that he's going to be trying, especially considering that the other hard wall has been opened by a Maverick. So really, he's going to die on that hill. There's no way he rotates out of that situation. At best, he can just get 1 or 2 kills before he dies, and that does not happen. So 3v5 situation. NTNS Gaming again struggling to hold on to the bomb site, but they're faring better than before, definitely. But it looks like... Yeah, go ahead.
After a lot of experience of seeing this map be played and just playing this map, you know, there's only 2 options that are really going to work out. You know what I mean? It's either you hold pillar, you know, life or death, or you don't hold pillar and you play, you know, back in the other side with shields, with smokes ready, with nades ready, with C4s ready, should I say. Right now they tried to hold pillar, they wasted a decent amount of time, but like I said, you know, you have to either hold it till you're all dead, or you can't play it. Right now they tried to hold it, it didn't work out. They wasted about 2 minutes, which is okay, but they, you know, the attacker still had a whole minute to work with, and as you can see, that strategy did not work out. So hopefully if they go downstairs again, they're gonna stop holding attic, or sorry, stop holding pillar, and just play a little bit more on the laundry site with shields, with smokes, with C4s and stuff like that.
Man, I really love when you bust out the diamond level analysis. Like, you're seeing stuff that I'm just oblivious to, and I love that when you're basically shining light on the same thing that I'm seeing. Like, I have my eyes on the same situation that you do, and you see totally different undercurrents. I love that, I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I've been a coach for a while, so I kind of know a little bit about how the maps work. You know, the thing is that Rainbow can be very volatile, but there's just some stuff that you just see happen over and over again. Like right there, you know, that's just an example of it. It's that if you don't hold pillar to 100%, the higher chances of losing, and that's exactly what happened right there.
You're coach. This is like outside the context of us casting here. You're coaching for Remac nowadays, am I correct? Or did I? Because I believe like one of the teams that did register to next season's DAL, they said you're coaching with them or coaching for them, something like that.
Yeah.
Is it
So.
Remac?
So how it works when it comes to my coaching is I coach teams here and there. I kind of get like a more or less of a temporary you know, contract, well, more not really a contract, but like kind of undetermined like coaching.
Yeah, you're a free agent more than a member of the team.
Yeah, basically. And right now I've been doing a lot of work with Bremac, trying to, you know, help them get better, trying to teach them and trying to improve them as a team, so that once they do come back into the DAL for the next season, they're a better team than they were before.
Because they had major restructure. They did restructure like in a major way near the end of the main season, and they ended up doing like really poorly. I don't think they won a single map or a single match, but at the same time, them restructuring near the end, they had really good chances. So if you're upgrading their performances even more, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with starting at the next season.
Absolutely. If the people want a little sneak peek, you know, we're definitely working. I'm definitely working with them, and they're going to come back with a new roster with new knowledge, and hopefully they're going to play stronger than they did last season.
So I just want to stress one thing though, as like I'm a caster and you're more or less you know, a part of the organization as well. We remain neutral, right? He is a free agent more than a member of the team. And well, of course, I'm friendly with people in general, but I'm also not going to be biased regarding, in this instance, we're talking about real-life esports. I just wanted to also put that up there because it's really important to
Very true.
to keep trusting the organization, because if you think that the referees are biased, then the entirety of the organization just falls apart.
Very true.
So with that being said, round number 5, basement hold again. At this point, I would just try to defend kitchen and meeting hall, because really NTNS are struggling with that basement area, and that just is extremely costly. If history repeats itself, we're going to be staring a 4-to-1 situation, and that's the kind of stuff you would want to see as a defender, not as the attacker.
I think that that's the 4th time in a row that they have lost pillar control within the first 2 minutes, which, like I keep stressing, that cannot happen. You know what I mean? That can't be happening.
Looks like Likos will be also facing the challenge of his round, or of his life, I would say, but his challenge of the round. He has the LMG, he can fend off a few attackers at once, but Fantix kind of does seem to think he doesn't need to push or to peek him. Like, the cross angle there is really promising. Oh, that grenade could be dangerous. And there you have it. Likos just forfeited control over Freezer on his own. He's going to have to hold on to that, though, because if they keep on pushing forward, well, then that's going to be Storm who's going to be facing, or he's going to be shot at in the back of the head. And you did talk about pillar control. Well, they did try to regain that, but at the same time, Storm just died yet again. Not Exile, just flushing out anybody. Third candidate in a row who wanted to hold on to pillars. That just didn't work out. Ayuz is going to have to deny a diffuser plant. He is at the very least going to deny a flawless round, you know, saving face more than anything else. But yeah, fifth round won by Impact Esports. That's a 4-to-1 situation, looking extremely good for Impact Esports.
Immaculate shots coming out from Exile right there.
Let's go with the replays. Also, I did not share you the replay scene. Let me just also turn on a screen share. So I'm going to be sending you 2 screens. The one is just the gameplay, and the other one is like Discord. So when replays are showing, you can see them and comment on those immaculate shots that you just commented on.
For sure. So that round was, you know, I like how, if you notice, Exile and his team, they changed up their attack slightly. So yes, they took top control. Yes, they, you know, put pressure on pillar, but they went for a more heavy push onto Freezer, and then they rotated a little bit towards the back afterwards. But they really tried something new just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get too repetitive, but going in the back, which would not have been a bad option, because as long as NTNS doesn't completely dedicate their life to pillar or not, they could have just kept going for a back push. But I like how they tried to go for kind of more of a Freezer split and see how that would fare out.
Somebody in chat just complained that there are no alerts, and when somebody raids us. Oh yes, Scorb just raided us with 35 viewers. Wow. Yeah, Scorb, there are no alerts because we want to keep like the UI as clean and minimalistic as possible. Actually, when I was a community caster for ESL, it was actually forbidden for me to have those notifications in the in-game screen. So hey, thank you very much. And yeah, sorry about that, but I do acknowledge that you bringing in 35 viewers is amazing. But that is as long as I'm going to take my mind off of the game itself, because hey, that match is like really interesting. We are on the top floor again, and you did comment about the state of things before, so this would be a good opportunity for NTNS to win another round. I mean, we all know they can ill afford to lose any more rounds in the current situation, right? A 4-2 split is as good as it is going to get. Plus, well, they're going to be attacking next. This is round number 6. Roll swap is, well, right around the corner, basically. So, yeah, dire situation for NTNS, and they have to win this one.
Yeah, I really hope that the psychology aspect isn't really hitting NTNS right now. It kind of seems like they're not really changing how they're playing individually, or kind of if they're, you know, calling out their mistakes and trying to work a little bit more together right now. So I hope that they're not kind of in a downward spiral right now.
Yeah, Fentix right here trying to go for the refrag for the wall bank. Oh, Kunai falling down. Because he had a good potential going, but at the end of the day, yeah, that basement area, when you're alone, when you're trying to rotate, is pretty choke pointy. Holding onto it as a bomb site is viable, but, you know, getting a kill and fleeing, staircases are just your doom. And I did see Fentix trying to open up the wall right there, but that is...
Yeah.
It's not electrified or anything, so it should be easy for him.
Right there, that could have been another example of what I meant by like kind of this like psychology aspect, is that maybe Kunai felt like he needed to get a kill, so he kind of played in more of like a rat position, and then once he got his frag, he just wanted to get away so quick. He didn't really think. I feel like maybe that's not something he would have done if his mind was completely clear at the moment. So I feel like right now they're really the fact that they lost a couple rounds in a row is definitely starting to hit a toll on the NTNS, which is gonna really give a big boost to Impact, who might maybe go for like a 7-1 here.
So here's my question. The mentality aspect of it can also go both ways, because if you win too many rounds in a row, you get overconfident. Do you sense that Impact Gaming are making maybe a few mistakes that they weren't doing at the beginning of the round, or that they should be doing in the first place?
Overconfidence is definitely inevitable for the most part, unless you're at the very highest leagues. It's always going to be something that you're going to have to deal with and work with in general. It's definitely possible that a couple of mistakes, small mistakes here and there are coming out, but the main benefit is that they have the momentum right now, and momentum can be very powerful on both the attackers and the defenders. One side positive, one side negative.
Absolutely. Rushing in before the Nitro Cell detonates is not going to happen, but as Kid was falling back, he did open himself up to a cross angle from that window, and it looks, as I say looks, it actually happens. It looks like Impact are going to win this top floor push as well, so 5-1 split for the role swap. That is huge. So yeah, they're not making too many mistakes, and they're not getting overconfident, even though you said it's inevitable, so it's likely to happen eventually. But so far, they seem to have a really good grip on their emotion and on their, I want to say, euphoria, because, I mean, winning that many rounds in that short order, we're not going to in the last few seconds of the round either, right? Winning that many rounds in that short order is bound to have an impact on them, like we just talked about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can definitely see by the way that the defenders are playing that they're more or less down than when the game first started. So hopefully that they can try to bring that back up, and they can go for this comeback, because it's definitely something that's very possible. They just have to really start focusing up a little bit more, being more aware of their surroundings, and hope to pull through.
Absolutely. So my next question would be one of an analytical, I want to say nature. So I guess it's going to be one that I'm passing along to you. Impact Esports, seeing how they were attacking and seeing how they're playing on the last map on Clubhouse, how do you expect them to defend? Or on the flip side of this is, how do you expect NTNS Gaming to be attacking on this map, considering like how they were playing on defense?
Okay, so obviously, for the most part, Oregon is mainly, it's like supposed to be a defender-sided map. It can be very balanced, obviously, in the competitive setting because of how attacking is more coordinated and whatnot. So theoretically, Impact Esports should have the edge right here because it is usually more defender-sided. However, if NTNS can prove to have a good enough team balance and a good enough chemistry and get refrags and really pull through on the defenders, then a comeback is definitely possible right here. But if not, I think that Impact is going to have the jump right now.
Yeah, I mean, the status quo is that the defense wins, absolutely. And right here, Kunai will be rubbing shoulders with Roberts. Let's see who exactly gets the kill. It seems like Kunai is not exactly aware of his opponent's positioning. So in a sense, if Roberts pre-fires adequately, there's no way for him to not win that firefight. And that's going to happen right there. Nicely done. He's going to just to force the situation, because he could have jumped down, gotten a kill on Angel, probably would have died in the process. But still, forcing your advantage while you have the upper hand can absolutely, turn the tide of a round. But with that being said, I mean, we're talking hypotheticals here. That absolutely did not happen. And on the other side of the map, wow, top floor, or I should say tower, has been opened up. Storm opening up one side, and he's working on the right-hand part of the wall, just to make sure he can, walk in behind that piece of cover there.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, what could really make this attack a lot better is if they sent one person on Kid's window or on Big window to put pressure. Hopefully that's what Nomad is about to go do right now. Yeah, if Nomad goes and does that like kind of right now, they might be able to get a better attack onto the objective.
Yeah, and it looks like Nomad was rotating, but she's just rotating to the big window. Though Lycos is there as well, so I guess in the sense Lycos, as soon as he drops out the drone, could be a good candidate to get on that window. How did that one die? Was that through the window? It could have been. So it was Angel.
It was a wall bang. It was a wall bang on the double wall on the Kid's window.
Yeah, yeah. I did realize that as soon as I just picked Angel's camera. But yeah, like you wanted to see somebody on Kid's window, and there you have it. Storm is losing a lot of health. He gets the kill on Pinos. Pinos, who was surprisingly still on the first floor. I mean, I get it. He wanted to shut down hatch. But thing is, you have a very, very narrow line of sight. You only shut down hatch, and a rotation to, for example, protect Kid's bunk is extremely slow because you have to walk up the stairs. Whereas if you were to be on the top floor, well, then it's just a matter of turning around. That natural slide could be huge, but it does not get any kills. And now the attackers are just crawling. Or that attic is infested with attackers.
Yeah, it started off really well. They did a great split of the windows and then the attic. Definitely a very normal and good split, but it seems like they're kind of dropping like flies now.
And diffuser has been lost by the way by the attackers, so it is going to be a hard sell. Angel did get it back, but you know, he had to basically pause his push, and the rotations he was spreading off were not unsupervised, which might be a reason as to why Storm died. We didn't witness this, so I can't say. But with 2 seconds on the clock, I mean, the round is lost at this point. And yes, Impact Esports winning their 7th round. It is now a 6-1 situation.
Yeah. So that round happened really fast. I think that the main issue was that they tried to play the attic so hard that what happened was they just purely lost their gunfights on the doors and whatnot. So when you do a push like that, the people who are pinching from the windows are meant to make the initial push from attic a lot easier. If not, what happens is you have pure gunfights on that door frame, and it seems like Impact are a higher skilled team when it comes to individual gunfights. As you can see, Exil right there getting, you know, very nice frags on the people in attic. So you really need those people from Kids and Big Window to either take some control or cut off the good angles so that the people in attic can really focus on picking that one frag. This is a mistake that I see very commonly, is that people don't pick a frag, you know what I mean? They drone out sight, they see one person here, one person there. You have to pick one person. You have to pick, let's say, Kaid, okay, and then we double swing him, we flash him, we do this. You really have to work on getting a pick at a time when you're in a situation like that, so that you can really take control of that next, you know, that next angle, take control of the next position, and then end up, you know, being able to get control of sight.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's see how round number that's 8 at this point is going to turn out, because Impact Gaming are defending bunker, and that was like the hill NTNS did die on, but when they were defending. So it would be kind of poetic in a sense if Impact Gaming were also to start choking when they get on the basement defense. Just to say that NTNS loses face, or on the other way around, if they do manage to get this victory in the basements where NTNS notoriously failed, well, then that would absolutely cement the fact that Impact would then be deserving of like the best of 3 title. Because once again, as a reminder, the victor of that game is guaranteed money, because the victor of that game is guaranteed to be at worst ranked 3rd. So there's literally money on the line on this match more than on any other game of the entire season. So hey, if that was not, there wasn't enough incentive for the players, there's also that. Oh, he's already losing health, so he's pushing backstairs, and that's not going too well for him. Is Roberts going to push in? Oh, he is feeling cocky.
Could be a huge play come out right here.
Could also be a huge mistake.
Yeah,
it
that
really can go both ways.
That overconfidence could step in, but there's no one. Oh, sorry, there is someone. I didn't see that.
Yeah, because like she's hidden by the gun or something. If you look at how Roberts, there you go. He sees the elbow, and that is going to be the end of Ayuz. Could have even like pushed his advantage to kind of harass the players that are looking at the hatch, but that's not going to happen. Once again, pushing your advantage. He would have been rushing heads down into danger. Could have been in an unknown situation. Any big risk to take. But so far, I mean, it pays off.
Yeah.
If the nade rolls. Oh, he's lucky to be alive.
Well, now we're seeing the aspect of kind of the loss of the slight loss of morality. You can see them peeking one by one. So first, Zofia was trying to hold the flank. He lost the gunfight because Roberts went for a Negro play. And then, boom, another person came and peeked all by himself, not a single flash or nade, before he could have waited 10 seconds, and then his teammate would have naded first, which should have made Roberts turn his back. But he chose to not wait. So this impatience of getting kills and winning, you know, the impatience of wanting to win is what's going to make you lose.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, even if Roberts may have been a bit too aggressive, at the end of the day, it is still a 3v4 situation. So I'm just gonna chalk it to the one player being maybe a bit overconfident, because as a whole, I mean, Impact Gaming aren't falling apart right now, definitely.
They are definitely getting their pillar control, which is important, obviously. So if you can make it work properly, then that would be good. But you see how they have a shield in sight facing that door? So that's what I was saying. If you lose pillar, if you can't hold pillar, then you have to hold it from sight using shields, C4s.
Oh, they traded.
There you go. There's a C4 right there. Oh, okay. Never mind.
No, he doesn't have one.
didn't go off.
No, I know you don't have sound because of the Discord screen share, but I believe it did go off without killing anybody. Likos in 1v3 situation, getting 10 seconds like clock. Once again, it is all up to him. He is not going to get another one, and Impact Esports are going to take this one home after losing the first map in a, heartbreaking way. They really did bring this back.
Yep. So, I mean, we do a quick little review on that final round. The defenders did quite the default setup. They had Roberts play in the pillar, kind of play his life, like I said, but not really try to hold it. So you can kind of tell that the main hold was actually back in sight, which is once again a very good option. Roberts was able to play aggro, get 2 kills because of some impatience that came out from the attacker side. Once he got refragged, we had the shield inside, we had C4 inside, we had a smoke with canisters and the shotgun in sight. I mean, it's very, very hard to push the site once you have pillar if, like I said, you're holding it, you're holding that bomb site from the laundry bomb site with shield C4s. Like I said, that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what worked.
Yep, indeed. I really don't know what I can add to what you just said. You're saying, you're right. It's kind of like the stock answer to blankly agree with you without providing anything to the conversation. But I truly don't know what I could add to that. So I don't want to be saying, oh yeah, I'm saying yes, agreeing with you, just
it's
so
fine.
I can get my, you get what I'm trying to say. I truly don't know how to add to that.
No, it's fine. Here, let's review the map in general. So what would you say is the main what would you say is the best stuff that Impact did on this map in general?
So I would say that in the early stages, NTNS visibly did not know how to manage the basement floor. They had like roamers on the first and on the second round, and that didn't work out at all. So then they just tried to focus a bit more on holding on to OBJ itself. Once again, just talking about the basement, right? And that kind of worked to force the map to go into the later stages, or force the round to go into the later stages. But I mean, I'm just going to echo exactly what you said. As soon as they lost pillar control, attackers were funneling in, be it through blue, be it through the big tower, or maybe even just using that weakness to force also through a freezer push. That's happened once or twice as well. So really, just the sheer amount of times NTNS tried to defend basement and the sheer amount of times they subsequently failed cost them 4 rounds. The 5th one is the one they lost at the top floor. I mean, losing once, winning once at top, this does happen, right? And at this point, momentum was just all but lost for them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like you said, Impact just really took advantage of the mistakes from NTNS on the bottom floor and both on the top floor, and they were just able to get that amazing split, which obviously gave them the benefit of momentum in the round and won them the map and the series in general.
Yep, absolutely. So you know what? Now might be a good time to get an interview going. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. We're gonna be calling Pepinos. So.
All right. Here, do you mind if I ask the first question?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm just gonna get him to respond, and also let me just like put the stream or.
Oh, we got that.
/T-League.
Got that quick little 100 viewers. Shout out to everyone in the,
in
the stream
100
right
viewers.
now.
That's a highlight for us. I mean, for real, I do have to thank Scorp a heck of a lot. I mean, 100 viewers. He did host us with 35 a few minutes ago, so that's like a solid chunk. Well, that's literally a third of 100, isn't it? And the rest, well, hey, that's Impact Esports supporters, that's NTNS Gaming supporters also, plus like the hype or the traction that the league is generating on its own. Really, it is in no small part thanks to you guys' like implication and community building. So hey, I just want to say thank you so much, because that's a really, really high number. I mean, And that we are, if that was a trend, if that was to stay more often, or if those numbers were to be our average or our default, let's just put it that way, well then we could literally be applying for Twitch partnership, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to be shackled to Twitch. But you know, you get what I mean. By the way, yeah, we're not even affiliated. You can't
Hey.
subscribe, but also there are no ads on the channel. And
I just wanted to
Go ahead.
quickly say, I see Bomate in the chat. He said that SCL is worse than DAL. I just want to say we respect all the leagues, but hey, Bomate, if you want to spread that message, be my guest, my guy.
Okay.
All right, let's get this interview busted in.
Yep. Just typing that I'm gonna be starting a group chat. Yeah, I heard there were a few. Oh shoot. Nice. Okay. Hey, je te parle en français rapidement. Peux-tu s'il te plaît accepter la demande d'amis pour que je puisse ajouter mon co en appel? D'ailleurs, salut, Pinos, comment ça va?
Salut. Mais oui.
Ouais, je te demanderai rapidement ça d'accepter la
Yes.
demande d'amis. Merci. Fait que, appel de groupe. And for those of you who don't speak French, that was the end of the French language. We're back in English. Yes, sir, pharmacy. I didn't have Pinos as a friend, so I couldn't like create a group chat.
No
It
worries,
just
no
took
worries.
30
So,
seconds. 'Cause
Pipinos.
I left like extremely quickly and without warning. I'm sorry about
Okay,
that.
it's fine. So Pipinos, I want to ask. So I was gonna start off by just asking. Well, first of all, you know, good win. You guys played that very well. I want to say, when you noticed that they went downstairs, you know, like 4 times in a row, and on the 4th time, you know, so basically all the other times you guys pushed it back, and you did a top clear, and then you pushed it back. How come on the 4th time you guys decided to go for more of a freezer split? Did you guys want to try something new, or what was the mentality behind that play?
I mean, no, like they were going downstairs and we were winning like each time, so like we just keep the same push each round, and I think they never won a round downstairs, so that
That's
worked
true.
pretty
Correct,
well.
yeah.
It's very true. Okay. And then when it comes to the attacking, what do you guys why do you think that you guys had such a good split? You know, why do you guys, you know, what was happening on attack? Did you have like an IGL, you know, roll calling?
I mean, this map is one of the map that we like really work in attack. We always doing the same thing on like pretty each side the open and choose, and we have Exil and Robert as 2 like entry fragger that have really good aims, and they like I don't know how they clear top each round and we get easy kill after, so yeah.
Very good. Hans, did you want to ask anything?
Yeah, so my question is, you won the best of 3, thus you are going to be coming out on top. You're the bigger team or the best team. But why or how did you lose the first map so badly, and did it affect your mentality or your mental
Alright.
aspect for the upcoming maps?
Yeah, like I knew it. I knew we will talk about about the first match, because like we played so bad. Like we didn't know how to push. Like NTNS was just too good for us on this map. To be honest, they had big strat, and like we were staring at each other and like saying, "What are we doing, guys? Come on, we need to push." And the time was scrolling down, and we end up have no time, and we were just like we were stuck. Like,
But did that demoralize you for the upcoming maps, for the two next maps? So for context, okay, for a bit of context, the last time I casted was the final of the R6L QC League. So it's an Xbox league, and it was a best of 5. And after the second map, the one team just forfeited. Okay.
Alright.
Because they lost 2 maps in a row and they just didn't feel like playing
They
anymore,
gave up.
which is unfortunate. Yeah, they gave up, right? And I found it unfortunate, like for a final with money on the line, to just be forfeiting because you're not having a good time.
Yeah.
But that's just human nature for you, right? So I was wondering if that was also affecting you guys.
I mean, we never gave up. Like, we knew Cafe was not a good map for us, and we knew that Oregon and Clubhouse was coming. So we did, like, we start very badly also on Clubhouse. Like, we start with 2-0 for NTNS, but we come
Yeah.
back in attack. We did pretty well in defense also. That, like, we got the win because of this. And after Oregon was one of the best map we got, like we worked a lot on this. So yeah.
So hey, congratulations! I have another question for you, and this one is a bit of my personal, I want to say curiosity more than regarding the map itself or the match itself. Alvine was in chat most of the time. Why wasn't he playing?
What?
So Alvine, your team leader, was in
Yeah, yeah.
chat the whole time. If he couldn't be there for personal reasons, feel free to not answer or to answer vaguely. But like he was visibly free to, at the very least, type in chat. So once again, him being the team founder, the team leader, why was he not there, and why did you bring a sub player in instead?
Uh,
Oh
to
boy,
to
good
be
question.
honest, I don't like I don't know
Okay,
why.
that happens. That's all right. That's all right. So you know what, my next, because I looking at the first map especially, I thought, well, maybe having like the core team together would help you guys have better performances. Once again, referring to Dostoevsky more than anything else. How confident are you going into your next match? Because your next match is going to be against Mishmash Gaming, and let me just pull up the
Yes.
the bracket just to be extra sure, right? Because Mishmash Gaming is the team that puts you guys in the
Yes.
losers bracket in the
Yes.
first
We
place,
know.
and I'm not done. Something else, just to build up. I don't want to say I'm not done, as in let me talk. That sounded, that sounded a bit rude. I'm sorry about that. But in the sense that they were also the team that you played against in the grand final of the tournament season last season, and
Yes.
you ended up winning that one. So there's a bit of rivalry between you guys,
Mm.
and at the very least, your enemies also do know you, so they're likely to scout you out. How confident are you going against Mishmash Gaming, knowing that you won against them once and lost against them once so far?
I mean, I'm like new to this roster, so I only played Mishmash Gaming once, and we
Okay.
got absolutely slammed. To be honest, we were not ready for this. But now with this win, we have to work like a lot of thing again. But to like we lost last time against Mishmash because one of our best player Exil was not there,
Okay.
and and Exil was playing really well. He did a great job also today.
Mm-hmm.
He's like probably the best player in this league, to be honest. And
Big
like
statements.
we know Mishmash have a lot of strat and they're pretty strong, but we saw the game that they play against only fan, and like we said, dude, like how we played that bad, like
I see what you
we
mean.
know we can beat them. We can beat them.
So, hey, I don't want to go into too much. I don't want to delve too meta here, because if I suggest, for example, to play this map or that map, that might
Yeah.
influence the map banning. But if Mishmash were to bring you on Cafe, next week, would that be the end of the world for you, or would you think
Uh,
you could
yeah,
like level up
because
your Cafe game pretty quickly?
we played the time that I played against Mishmash, we played the first map on Cafe and we lost 7-1. So I don't know if the coach we will. I mean, we need to work a lot Cafe. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty easy to
Yeah, that
see.
was obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but I mean, like if Mishmash go on Cafe, it will be a hard one. Hard.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else to influence this, but yeah.
Gotcha. I totally understand. Got to remain neutral. Got to give both teams as equal a chance as possible. Pharmacy, did you want to add something to that?
No, I wasn't gonna add anything. I think we asked Pepinos a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah, and we took enough of your time. You must be tired because you've been playing. We were just like watching and talking about the game in a
I
pretty
mean,
chill and laid back manner. Uh,
Factuals.
I mean, also GG to NTNS.
oh
They
yeah,
played
they played
really
great.
well.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did play really well. So hey,
they surprised me because it's the first time I played against them. Like I was hearing a lot of thing about them, but I never played against them. So yeah,
oh, by the
with
way, if NTNS are watching, like this being the last game that you had on the league this season, this would have been like as good a time as any to say hi. I would really love to see you again next season. I know that last match in particular wasn't great from a management standpoint. Like there was some part of what we did, or should I say didn't do, moderating the chat. I mean, people that ended up not being too nice with NTNS gaming, and it was our responsibility to moderate that, and we didn't do good enough of a job. I acknowledge that. But hey, if you are willing to give us a second chance, you were an amazing, good team, and I really, really hope to see you again next season. Because I mean, look at the game that we had tonight. That was amazing to see, and I would love to see more of you guys. Truly.
And TNS are also quals for the SCL, so I wish the best
did
of
they
luck for
qualify?
this league. Yeah, they did.
Okay. Well, then we may not see them again because they're going to be busy with SCL. I see. That happens. You win some, you lose some. But either way, I'm going to be like poking them once more just to get a final answer out of them. Because yeah, qualifiers are open to registrations, by the way. So I'm just going to be doing like the small promotional shtick here. So Pinos, I think we're done asking you questions. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again for your time and for congratulations for the victory. If you want to like listen to the promotional shtick on Discord, I mean, I don't see an issue with that, but I mean, I'm no longer going to be asking you questions. So hey, congratulations, have an amazing rest of the night, and see you again on your next match, which is actually likely going to be early 2021.
Thanks.
So, yeah,
See you around, man.
See ya, dude.
So yeah, I did want to make one or two announcements. Announcement number one is, of course, regarding season 3. Registrations are open. And Pharmacy, I did see that you sent me like a huge wall of text with like suggestions and improvements. If it's not, I haven't read through it because I was casting, obviously.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it after.
Okay, so it's not the kind of thing that you want to like say on stream?
No. We'll read it after.
Okay, so a few things. First and foremost, I've said this like 3 times without finishing the sentence. Registrations are open. They're going to be on January 23rd and 24th. So that's a Saturday and Sunday, 2021, obviously. How many spots are going to be open? Quite simple. However many teams do not register again, that's how many open spots we're going to have. So the more teams not register, the more chances you have of making it in. Registrations for qualifiers are free, but if you do earn a spot, well, then the regular entry fee that the teams are all paying are going to apply to you as well. However, the one small, I want to say, detail or exception to that is the DAL mentoring program. I did announce it to the currently playing teams, and I said, hey, why the heck not? Let's open it up to everybody. So I'm going to be making like a proper announcement on Twitter and on the open platforms as well. Basically, if you refer a team to us when you register to the playoff to their qualifiers, there's like a question that's being asked: did another team refer you or not? And if a team that you referred to us ends up qualifying, we knock $5 off of your entry fee. If you have already paid your entry fee, then I'm just going to be PayPaling you $5 that way. And yeah, starting next season, also the format is going to be changing up a little bit. We're no longer going to be doing a round robin system, but instead a double GSM format, similar to what Pro League is doing in the North American League. And the point of that is to make games more balanced and more fair, even though on a purely technical standpoint, the lower performing teams are going to have fewer matches to play. On paper, they are supposed to be more fun to play though, because, you know, one-sided matches of, you know, high T3 against low T3 teams, that was not fun to play, and that wasn't particularly fun to watch either. Plus, we're going to be launching 2 different leagues with a relegation system similar to Pro League and Challenger League, instead of having one league with a lot of teams, once again, to segregate those different skill brackets to make things more fun for everybody. So hey, if you want to register, type !quals, like Promise has been doing in chat a few minutes ago, and you can register there. We're on Guilded again. It's like Discord, but with tournament management functionalities embedded into it. Makes our lives way more easier, even though I know that most of you guys are always on Discord and not too often Guilded, but do try to give it a shot. I think it's worth it. Pharmacy, did you want to add something to that?
Well, I mean, I hope my company was enjoyed.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I guess if you guys want to check me out, Pharmacy R6 on Twitch and on Twitter, and DAL on top, baby.
DAL on top. Yeah, you do read my mind, because I was gonna say, hey, you give me 1 hour at a time, you might as well pimp out your Twitter and that kind of stuff. So yeah, you also said that you are a freelance coach. Do you want to maybe promote that kind of business for yourself as well?
I mean, gladly. I mean, listen, if anyone in chat, you know, needs help getting better as an individual, or you have a team that you really want to improve. I mean, I've been coaching for over 2 years. I've done, CL level teams before, CL level players before. So if you need help, just hit my line, Pharmacy6 on Twitter.
Gotcha. That is amazing. So also, I'm just going to be adding a bit more to that. you are a champion level player. So I mean, if you wanted to be playing in CL, actually you're minor. So if I hope that wasn't like too personal. So that's in my mind, that's the only reason why you're not doing CL right now. Because if you're hitting champ, I mean, you have the mechanical skill level to be doing at the very least high level T3 comps, in which you can earn some kind of money because you would have the skill to be in the first teams. And therefore, as soon as you hit 18, I mean, you could absolutely play in CL in my mind. So that's why he's qualified to be a coach. That's all I wanted to say in a roundabout way.
Factuals.
Okay.
Factuals.
Is there anything else you want to add? Because if not,
Nope. That was all for me.
Awesome. So hey, the next game is going to be between Impact Gaming or Impact Esports. It's Impact Esports. I called them Impact Gaming in the in-game overlay. My bad. Impact Esports against Mishmash Gaming. They are going to schedule, in theory, we have a 2 weeks break because, well, Christmas and then New Year's Eve is coming. So, of course, you don't want to be playing. You want to be spending like the 25th of December with your family. AKA, we are going to be having a 2 weeks break. So depending on how the players schedule that, it's either going to be late this week or be early 2021. So since I don't know yet which one's going to be, I will say you maybe Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah for those of you who celebrate. I have no idea what the background of this audio of this channel is, and maybe Happy New Year. And if I did say that for nothing, well then see you again in a couple of days, basically. But with that being said, we are also going to take off. Have an amazing rest of the night. Take care, and hope to see you all either the next days, either next year, and definitely in quals. Just like Roxo said, we'll be doing quals. I hope to see you there, and you gotta remain neutral. So I'm going to wish you, as much as anybody else, best of luck in those. With that being said, have an amazing rest of the night, guys. We'll see you again. Whenever that happens to be. Once again, we don't know exactly for sure. And with that being said, have an amazing rest of the night. Take care, and bye-bye.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped. 10 seconds to go.